Welcome to Semper Hooah podcast.
So like at work, my boss got this. Well, he didn't really. Our door guy put this idea in his head that we need to like decorate for Halloween. You've been to the bar.
Yeah.
We really don't need to do anything.
No, it's already decorated.
It's very gothic as it is, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, so we bought a bunch of like spider webs and like just some like really creepy looking paintings and shit like that to put up on the walls and all that stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it would be really cool, with all those like nice wax candles we got at the bar to get the ones that burn like a different color.
Okay.
Right? So I was like looking on Amazon for them while I'm at work, and I just couldn't find them. They were all out of stock or anything like that. So I go up to our tarot card reader, who's this really nice gay kid named Marcos, right? Go up to him, and I'm like, hey, Marcos, you're into gay shit, aren't you? And he just sits there and goes, yeah. And I'm like, can you find these candles for me?
Ooh.
This one smells like thermite.
I was about to say we should save this for the podcast, and then you continue with the story. It's like, no, is it good to get it out now?
Nah, we're good with that. All right, welcome to Semper Hooah podcast. There it is.
Also,
All right.
that's not that bad. Marcos is a good kid.
Yeah. I haven't met him yet.
Yeah, he's funny.
All right. Well, hey, Sammy, good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. After your carjacking last week, you made it here. That's great.
Yeah.
We got Jonesy behind the stick. We've got PD in the closet, and with what do we call it? Give Rob's name before? It was like our correspondent or on the
Our war correspondent.
Yeah, war correspondent Rob is here.
We still
in the
never
closet.
filmed anything like that.
Yeah. And our guest today, Ted Martinek. I know how much you hate it. Ted Martinek, how you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Ted over here.
He decided to go with the full name.
Yeah, Theodore Martinek over here is an Army infantry vet, 11 bang bang, and now currently a communication specialist in the Army Reserves. He's actually one of my soldiers. He's a combo boy. Oh, our first combo guy too. Great. I'm excited.
I could see the boner from here.
Yeah.
Listen, just don't start jacking off each other's dicks like in no E254.
How far are you guys planning on shooting your comm?
Pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Well, I'm glad
They
you're
up
on
their
here,
zinc levels.
So before we're going to get into your spiel, your whole thing in our smoke pit here, please, if you want to jump in during our show when we're doing stuff, go right ahead. Before we start off, let's do some pluggies. All right. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, and mind yourselves. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all podcast platforms. And watch us on YouTube or at semperhooah.com. You can follow us on Facebook at Semper Hooah Podcast and IG at Semper Hooah. Check out the merch at semperhooah.com/shop. You can support the show at semperhooah.com with a monthly subscription of your choosing. All you have to do is click that support us button, and 50% of merch profits go to Tango 3. PD.
Tango 3. With your help, they'll support veteran organizational projects that help with veteran mental health issues and veteran suicide prevention through the sale of Dove Creek Higashi Wagyu beef jerky.
And don't forget to send the hate mail to contact at semperhooah.com. And PD, DOD spiel, please.
Null views and opinions are not expressive of the DOD or any governmental agency, or
Maybe they are.
maybe they're.
Who knows? All right, quick current events. Let's see. Obviously, we've been covering this for a while here, and we're still going to keep doing it because there's always something happening with the Russian special super-duper military operation. And since we've got
Is that
two
the actual working title now?
trademark
Trademark now?
by Duffel Plug.
Yeah.
So not only we have Pete, we got Rob, who knows a lot too. So Rob and Petey, what do you guys got? Whoever wants to start off.
Well, I'll give it to Rob first, man. He's even more up and up from this morning's latest news.
So this morning, the Ukrainian military seemed to have conveniently blown up the Kursk bridge, or at least a portion of it. And that is an important bridge because it is an actual bridge between Russia and Crimea, but not to be confused with the land bridge, which they created now.
Right.
But it's an actual structural bridge. It's kind of the only way that they're getting supplies in and out through Crimea, and it's kind of the only way for the civilians and the military in Crimea to leave to get back to Russia. So it is kind of an important thing. So they also started up a ferry this morning, which is the only other way that they can do that to get supplies in and out of Crimea.
which is way more laborious and inconveniencing.
And it's
to the
also
Russians.
going to be way more. The Ukrainians are going to be able to target those ferries way easier than on the bridge.
They definitely move a lot slower, and it's interesting because the Ukrainians have used like HIMARS to try to take down bridges before, which it takes a lot of HIMAR rounds to take it down. So it's very interesting that they were able to take this down with 1 or 2 bombs. I mean, it's still unclear.
Yeah, there was a video this morning that showed
Jones, you
truck
got it?
I did actually.
All right.
with a remote detonation.
Blow us up
suspected.
there if you can. What have we got there? All right.
It's also the largest bridge structure in all of Europe.
Big ass bridge.
That's correct.
Holy shit.
Imagine driving up that motherfucker in the winter.
All right. Something gonna happen.
little icy.
Yep, on the right-hand side.
Whoa!
So now
fuck.
the Russians and the Crimeans, at least the pro-Russian Crimeans, have to worry about VBIDs now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time.
Yeah. Hey, they get to feel a little taste of what we felt in Iraq.
Yeah.
Right.
Holy shit.
Didn't they already have a taste of that in like Afghanistan and Chechnya?
Probably
No,
not.
not to
Not as
the not to
bad.
the degree that we experienced.
It,
Now-
it was a different war back in the 80s.
Right.
There is a little
Russians.
contention right now. Obviously, there's 2 parts to the bridge, but there was a train car, which you can see on the right there.
Yeah.
But there was an initial explosion and then a secondary explosion. So that's a little unclear what the secondary explosion was. But that initial explosion definitely looked like a vehicle.
Either way, that's going to tie up a lot of engineers for a long time checking that
Well, as far
the
as-
structural integrity of that bridge.
Russia put a statement out already saying that they'll have it fixed rapidly.
Oh,
so
yeah?
We'll
Yeah,
see.
I'm not going to be the first one to drive over that shit.
Even a quick fix for that's going to take a bit.
Nothing
Well-
a duct tape and some brick can't solve.
They did.
Pontoon bridge.
They kind of hastily put this bridge together too. They
Yeah.
did it in about 2 years, and
European.
good old
corners.
Vladimir drove across it with a Ural in 2018
Are
to
we talking about the truck or the motorcycle?
the truck. But yeah, so it might not have been as structurally sound as some of the other bridges around, but we'll see how fast they go to get this repaired. As of now, they're definitely using a ferry.
Crazy shit. All right. What else is going on up in Ukraine?
A big portion of right now the Ukrainian army is taking an operational pause because it is a little colder there right now.
Right.
So they have pushed pretty far into Kherson, and as of right now, it looks like the Russians are just moving back because it's part of Russian doctrine that they have 4 lines of defense. So it looks like they got pushed back to their 3rd line of defense where they're actually holding it pretty well. So it's actually part of their doctrine that they push them back to 3rd, 4th line, and then they nail the incoming forces with artillery.
Yep.
Which is kind of what they've been doing.
And create an envelopment.
Yes, exactly. But it's hard to tell because, the fog of war can be a little difficult. Whether or not the Russians are surrendering as much as they are. Some of the videos look staged. Some of them,
Right.
there are definitely troops being pushed through that they are surrendering.
And there's a lot more videos now that are also coming out on Telegraph and elsewhere that show actual Russian front lines and kind of some of the discombobulation that's happening. Again, part of it due to the fog of war. Part of it, I think, just to lack of good command and control and communications as well. Pretty much folks just kind of running around rampant, not really knowing what the fuck to do. Right? I don't think there's a clear set mission set down to the tactical level. And that's where kind of seeing, the higher level, officers still coming to the front lines and trying to manage war from the front lines, and that's where they're getting plucked off too.
Yeah.
Then secondly, then you see all the big the 4 referendums of annexation were signed in by the Russian Duma, which is kind of their Congress. So they're officially accepting the annexation of all those territories. But the part that I love is all the kind of folks running away from the drafts.
Yeah.
And just a lot more protests and a lot more vocalization against Putin and the military special operation.
I mean, well, what a surprise, like people who don't want to serve in the military being forced to serve into the military. aren't typically happy about that. I mean, we had an issue with that, I believe, at some point in recent history, if I can remember. I
think we did. I can't remember.
There was a big music festival, I remember, that had something to do with it. I don't know.
Well, they say about 300,000 Russians have
something happened in
fled.
Ohio State.
Is it 300?
Kent State.
More than what they used to invade Ukraine.
So
has fled.
I wanted to put two things for the Ukrainian situation. They probably slowed down because we are getting into the fall. All the ground's going to become soaked, and like for armored units, it's going to be a miserable time trying to go through all those marshes. So they're probably waiting for the ground to completely freeze before they do any more pushes. And also, we're not getting the anywhere close to the to date information on that. It's like we're getting what the Ukraine and Russian military operations are willing to let out.
Not Rob.
Yeah, not Rob. Rob's actually on the front lines right now, as I heard.
Well, there's a few things going on that there is intel coming in from the Foreign Legion, the Ukrainian Foreign Legion, which is mostly made up of Americans, ex-spec ops, but they're
some Brits.
They're soldier of fortune type. They're actually giving a really good description of what's really happening over there, and they said it's trench warfare, it's artillery war, it's attrition war. Yeah, so they said it's not what they were used to doing.
Speaking of soldier of fortune, right? How about the Wagner Group? Yeah, those guys are getting a spanking 2 or 3. I really like the video where they went to the one prison, right? And they're like, join a Wagner Group, and with 6-month commitment, your prison sentence will be commuted. Yeah.
Well, even the Chechnyans are having trouble.
Yes.
There's a couple of channels on YouTube that are pretty good to listen to. There's one that they have intercepts of phone calls that the Russians are doing back to Russia from Ukraine, and they're recording it, and you can they translate it in English, so you can actually hear what the troops are saying. Yeah, they're pretty demoralized. They really don't want to. I remember
they didn't even realize that the cheese in their MRE.
The Ukrainians actually had a pretty high standard of living for Eastern Europe, right? So these guys have been plucked pretty much from the remote fields of fucking Russia as conscripts and what have you are going and see that, oh my God, like it's actually pretty opulent over here compared to their standards, right? And they're trying to pillage or whatever they can, but it's like...
It's the weirdest stuff, too.
Right.
It's like washing machines.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
I get clock radio, you cannot afford.
Right. I have a chair.
Because they get pushed back, right? And then, like, especially in Lehman, you saw what they were taking. It was the weirdest things.
And it's also, like, probably for the Wagner Group, they went into areas that probably didn't put up as much of a resistance as the Ukrainians were. So they're going into something where the population is actively fighting back and actively winning against them.
Oh, absolutely.
So that has to be demoralizing for them because you have a win streak for all of your career, and then you run into here and you're getting your ass wiped across the floor.
All I know is half of the stuff that's happening over there, it's got Pentagon written all over it. Somebody's helping them because those forces in Crimea,
the United States fight a proxy war? Oh my God!
Who would have thought?
The guerrilla warfare that they're doing in Crimea. I mean, they blew up all those planes at the airport there, the military air base. The stuff they're doing over there is textbook what we would do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not even guerrilla war. That's you see an airfield and it's in artillery range, bomb the hell out of it. Like that's one less airfield you have to deal with.
Well, that was the thing though. It wasn't within any of the ranges of any of the weapons they had.
Oh,
and that's why it was such a big deal. And Ukraine didn't say that they actually did that.
Jones, what do you got up there?
Well, it's Vladimir Putin's birthday today.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Uncle Vlad.
Put up whatever you got there.
That was funny. Yeah, I saw that.
We should send him a
Blow that
couple
up on
fucking
full screen.
HIMARS rounds.
Full screen that. Oh, happy birthday, Vlad. Oh, 70th. Hope it's going good for you, bud.
Yeah.
You piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're done with Russia. And unless you get something else that's pressing, it's
It
big.
should be funny, right? He like this giant birthday cake gets rolled in for his little birthday party, and out jumps out like a Ukrainian fucking special forces bud.
It was
Right?
really
Happy birthday, motherfucker!
It was really thoughtful of the Ukrainians to do that for him. Like,
Right.
light a candle on the bridge. That
I
he
mean, to be
built.
fair, it is something he probably really wanted his whole life.
But like,
He is my neighbor. He is paining my assholes.
I would just like start out with like a whole fucking series of layered effects, right? First, start off with the birthday candles that don't blow out. You know? Someone dunks his head in the cake when he goes to blow out the candle.
Honestly, that would be even better if it was a gas pipeline.
Petey's 5-step plan on how to get shot in Russia.
Oh my God, what's that one? What's that one?
Oh, Ralphie. Yeah, I'm the only supply hub for Kherson and Crimea. I prefer the one like, I'm in danger.
I thought that was with all the generals.
Right. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
All right, we got some other quick current events here. We'll get more into Russia next episode.
All right.
Well, all right. Who wants this
I'll
one
take
up
this
here?
one.
All right.
All right. Little Rocket Man fires missile at Japan. Shelter in place. Japanese government tells citizens.
Fucking crazy with that.
North Korea fired a suspected ballistic missile that flew over Japan last week in the latest show of force against the nation, setting off alarms and prompting the Japanese government to warn the people to shelter in place.
Dum, dum, dum.
More shit's happening off of that too, right? We've got.
Well, the thing is with North Korea being this way, this is like actually prompting Japan to actually rearm.
Well, Japan's been rearming.
Yeah,
Yes.
because of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because North Korea's been, having a temper tantrum. Japan's like, hey, we've been pacifists for the past 50, 60 years.
Yeah, they haven't
we're
needed to.
not
They've
going
had the
to-
U.S. Marines protecting them.
Yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Please give us guns.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that started in 2017 when they launched that first missile over Japan.
Well,
Yeah.
and the other thing though too is Japan is actually looking at U.S. technologies for that, and they are actually buying the plane that was in competition with the F-22.
Oh.
Yeah, so the YF-23 is going to be going into service in the Japanese Air Force.
Interesting.
Also known as the Boeing Dreamliner.
I don't understand why people get so worked up about North Korea firing missiles. I mean, their technology is so far behind everybody else. I just view it as like,
It is, but-
look at them, aren't they special?
Yeah, it is, but it is a country that's helmed by a bad man.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
that's true.
You know what? But if you give it like another like 5 or 6 decades of them being like the hermit kingdom the way they are right now, they are going to have technological parity with nobody.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just going to be like, yeah, it sticks.
Sticks.
Well, I mean, Japan has Aegis gunboats.
Yeah.
They're
So-
going to shoot those down.
So does Korea and so does Singapore.
Yeah. They're in the waters over there, so I think it's just mostly they don't know where it's going to land, so they have to warn them.
Well, yeah, it's kind of sketchy,
Population.
right? It's flying over. That one flew over.
Yeah, but I
over
mean,
the country.
that
you
would
know?
be really fucking stupid if North Korea to like launch a missile and have it drop in the middle of Kyoto or something.
Oh, I don't
like
think
that.
they would
Yeah.
want it to.
It went over
They're
we call that
doing
an
it.
uh-oh.
That's an oopsie.
Yeah, the big thing is it actually went over their airspace. It flew over their actual island, which is fucking.
Well,
It goes back to the recent video that was like all over Facebook and whatever, the fuck around to find out ratio.
Yeah.
Well, my
We fucked around and we found out.
my question about that is like, what would happen if that rocket? Yeah, probably wasn't going to hit any landmass. What if it hit a commercial airline?
Yeah.
Oh,
That or a fucking
Or a
boat or some
tanker.
shit.
Yeah.
Like the statistics of like that missile hitting a commercial airliner are so astronomically large.
See,
but
you
it's
say
like,
that, but
we-
when
we,
Russia
like,
invaded Crimea, shit happened.
yeah, we live in a world.
Well, they were
where
aiming for that one,
That's
huh?
going to happen.
Still happened.
That was
North Korea's
intentionally
going to launch
unintentional.
it.
I think it's more Japan's like, well, we can't trust that they're going to make something that is going to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys better shelter in place because this
Right.
thing might fall down on us because it just breaks.
Yeah, it wasn't made in Japan after all. So.
yeah, exactly.
What's that Team America where they had the terrorist planes and they were boarded together? They were sitting on milk crates in it.
Ronry.
All right, next one up. Who wants it?
I can dig it.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah. I love it when the guest does
Oh,
it.
damn.
All right, go for it.
Wait, he said he could take it.
Yeah, I bet. Got the Magnum for you here, but
United States raid in Syria kills Islamic State weapons smuggler. U.S. Special Operation Forces conducted a raid in northeast Syria, killing an Islamic State insurgent who was involved in smuggling weapons and fighters. A U.S. official said a small number of U.S. troops were on the ground
Really?
We're on the ground near the village.
All right,
the ground.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
We're on the ground.
They were there. I don't know how long, but it happened.
We're on the ground near the village of
Yeah.
Kamishli. Yeah.
Camish. That's
Yeah.
what?
For
yeah.
less than an
Kamishli.
hour to conduct the raid.
Yeah, they capped some guys. Huh?
And that was one, and they had a secondary raid as well too that bagged a couple of other ISIS bubs.
Good for.
So, it was probably the Navy SEALs because that's
Still
being
in the
talked
news.
about.
Still in the news. It's still happening. We're still killing ISIS. I thought we got rid of them.
No.
There's always stragglers.
It's just a few little.
Hey, you know what they say? What's created in the Obama administration never goes away.
Oh, here we go. All right, next one up. Marine should take this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wears short shorts? Not us anymore. Fall. No more Ranger panties. All right. After negative feedback, Marine Corps tests another PT uniform. I don't know what negative feedback there is. I mean,
They weren't short enough.
Yeah, they weren't.
Well, they brought up another
Are
one.
these
and-
those
guys just
red
need to
and
be-
yellow ones that they tested and everybody hated them?
No, these are like these green ones they put out last year. We covered it, and
Yeah.
like they're now got more feedback going. Like, let's make it shorter, and I think they are. Let's,
All right.
What do you got?
The Marine Corps is collecting feedback on the latest iteration of what may become the service's new physical training uniform. And yes, this version's shorts are officially shorter.
Still not. Go on though.
All right. The new shorts, which are undergoing user testing this month, have a 5-inch inseam, which, while not even close to the 2-inch inseam of the beloved Silkies, is shorter than what the Corps originally ordered Marines during initial testing of the newly redesigned PT uniform last year. The feedback: bring back the Silkies.
I don't think it's gonna happen though.
You know, when does the Marines ever care about what we say?
Never.
Never.
Like,
I
No.
care.
oh, this
I
is my
care.
feedback. Okay, good.
Yeah, good
Go
enough.
eat some crayons.
Yeah.
Go, get out of here.
Go fuck off.
That's good trash. Go eat your Motrin and go fuck off.
The Department of the Navy doesn't care.
Don't you have weapons to clean? What are you doing around here?
I do believe there's armory inspection next week.
All right, so you're not getting your short shorts.
There better not be bluing on that rifle anymore.
Next.
No end in sight on a C-130 Hilux groundings. Other planes fill in on the mobility. With no end in sight for the grounding of virtually the entire fleet of older C-130H Hercules, the Air Force is turning to other aircraft and trying to find other workarounds to keep its mobility missions moving. Yes, I know I called it a Hilux because it's the workhorse of the Middle East.
I love that.
But the Air Force can't say how long it'll be before most or all of the grounded C-130Hs will be back in the air. Replacement parts to end the groundings are in short supply, subject to supply chain issues.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy though. I mean, that thing does shit everywhere.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts. All right, we'll
Yeah.
see how that turns out.
Yeah.
All right, next one up. Week.
All right, I'll take this one. GM Financial ordered to pay millions for illegally repossessing troops' cars, among other infractions.
Yeah, that happened.
Fuck you, GM.
Yeah, no
Ooh.
kidding. General Motors Financial Service subsidiary will pay nearly $3.6 million to settle charges that it illegally repossessed 71 vehicles and improperly denied more than 1,000 requests from the service members to terminate their leases in violation of the Service Members Civil Relief Act, or SCRA.
You know, if these assholes are going to camp out in the middle of Iraq and Kuwait and try to sell us cars before we even get back to the States, the least they can do is let us keep them.
The Justice Department announced that it had reached an agreement with GM Financial over a case involving troops who asked to be let out of their auto lease agreements for deployment or relocation.
Well, glad they're getting their cash. That's fucking crazy though.
Well,
right.
you know, what do you mean their cash? You mean our cash because it was from the bailout from 2008.
Yeah.
I guess.
I like how the Justice Department had to reach an agreement for something that GM has done completely erroneously. Like,
Right.
They're completely in the wrong, but the Justice Department has to ask them very nicely to play.
Well, because they're
nicely.
a big company. You know?
Well, the Justice
too big to
Department.
fail.
Well, they shouldn't ask them for anything since we own half that company
Oh, we do.
because of the 2008 bailout.
Well, haven't they bought back most of that debt?
I mean,
anyway?
Yeah, they have.
That was the initial plan. Have they though? Who knows?
Well, I mean, it was like, after the bailouts, they had to give bonuses to all their executives for their failing
Sure,
car companies.
Yeah.
Someone's a little spiteful.
All right. Carrying on.
All right.
Pregnant
That was
women.
a tough year for me.
2010. 2010 is when they got back majority stake on their own.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Get over
That's 12 years ago. Man.
Yeah, still.
All right.
He's pissed.
Pregnant women
No
can
one
now
bails me
apply
out.
for Air Force Officer Training School.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Give a baby in the air. Pregnant people can now apply for a spot in the Air Force's Officer Training School, a change aimed at admitting more women into the officer corps. The service announced September 30th. Previously, the Air Force and Space Force barred pregnant enlisted women, or enlisted airmen, guardians, and civilians from starting the commissioning process until 12 months postpartum. Waivers were available for those who wanted to submit their application earlier. Now people can apply while carrying a child and head to training 6 months after their pregnancy ends. No waivers needed.
So my question with this, was this really that big of an issue where they needed to end this kind of program? Like, I don't know. Like, 12 months after giving birth seems pretty reasonable to
I
me.
thought so.
Yeah, I don't
Not 6 months now.
think it's an issue at all.
I don't
it's
think
just,
6 months is unreasonable either. Like,
I think it's all
that's
part
fine
of the
too,
diversity and inclusion initiative.
Yeah, and it's just the Air Force just trying to get some good PR on their side.
Well,
Right.
they've had a ton of it.
Yeah.
They're testing beards. What else are they doing? There was
They're
a whole
allowing-
hands in a pocket.
They're allowing turbans for Sikhs.
Well, that's a
Raven knew
universal
that.
policy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, where have I been? Anyway.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just kind of look at this as like, all right, well, it literally says right here, it's not like they're sending them off to training while they're pregnant, right? And they're saying that you can't submit until like after a 12-month period. It's like, dude, what? Like, why not just let them submit their application while they're still pregnant and then be like, all right, cool. Once, 6 months done, well, off you go.
So, fun fact, the Air Force, much like the rest of the Department of Defense, is a bureaucracy. And so
No
there's a bunch
way.
of I know it's surprising. So there's a bunch of stupid rules that'll play into it, and so the Air Force is changing one of these stupid rules.
Well, I just don't understand why it was a rule to begin with. It just seems
Yeah.
like a needless red tape and bureaucracy for the sake of having it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was the whole
Yeah.
reason of it.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Enough about that crap. Who wants the next one up? I think Petey, you talked a lot about this guy.
Army recruit accused of hijacking bus full of school children may plead insanity. No
Because that
surprise
is
there.
insane to want to spend time with that many kids.
The Fort Jackson recruit accused of hijacking a school bus full of children with an empty rifle has indicated he intends to assert he is not guilty by reason of insanity, according to documents filed in the Richland County Court. An order requiring that Jovan Collazo submit to an evaluation of his criminal responsibility and capacity was filed in the Richland Circuit Court on September 27th. The order requires that Collazo, who fled Army basic training at Fort Jackson in May 2021, be evaluated by the State Department of Mental Health within 60 days.
He's still guilty. Whatever. He's gonna go to jail.
I'm still calling it insane. No one wants to spend that much time with your kids.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. That
So
guy's
wait,
fucking
he was a
weird.
recruit?
Yeah. That was a basic training dude.
Yeah. No one wants to spend that much time with kids unless they're getting paid to do it.
Sounds
So
like
he-
Rob missed a couple of our episodes.
I
Just
just-
insane.
I think the question here is whether he has his rifle from basic training, or if it was just like a personal rifle and or one he stole.
No, it was his rifle.
It was
Yeah. That still is. All right. He's pleading insanity. Cool. Next up.
Army guy's got to take this.
Jonesy.
He doesn't even have the thing in front of him.
All right.
Which one are you
He's
looking for?
busy. No.
It's official. The U.S. military will rename bases that honor Confederates. After years of debate, the Department of Defense will finally rename the U.S. military bases and other installations that bear the names of Confederate officers.
all Army bases.
Those 9 posts are Fort
Shocking.
Benning, Fort Gordon in Georgia, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Hood, Texas, Fort Rucker in Alabama, Fort Polk, Louisiana, and Fort A.P. Hill, Fort Pickett, and Fort Lee in Virginia.
So
I am so surprised that none of these are north of Kentucky.
So, Fort Polk, though, actually, well, that's how they're going to scam people to come over there because they're like, going to change the name. Like, oh, what's this base?
New and improved.
New and improved. It's like, new name, like, oh, this is, wait a second, I've been here before.
Yeah.
This
There's
is garbage.
there's a banner up front says under new management.
Oh, yeah, all right, check this place out.
So
and then September and October, Spirit Halloween. The Naming Commission released a list of potential new names for the bases back in May. Names that included Fort Eisenhower for Fort Gordon and Fort Liberty for Fort Bragg, among others.
Fort Liberty sucks. Fort Eisenhower sounds bad.
I still think Fort Hood should be like Fort Benavides.
Yes.
That'd be a great one.
I would not want to do
For-
Benavides dirty like that.
I think
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, wait, he was
Ted,
from
Ted
Texas.
wants to say something here. He's been aching to say something here.
Okay, so no way.
Ooh.
Go for it.
Uh,
Triggered.
one of the things is, like, first of all, Fort Liberty, terrible name for a base.
No, it sounds like something
name
that's
it, name
forward.
it after a very prominent, very liked U.S. Civil War general. Name it Fort Sherman. Come on.
No, that
What
should
do
be
you guys
Benning.
We used to have a Fort Sherman.
We used to have Fort Sherman, but we don't.
Well, okay, so Benavides being a Green Beret, name Fort Bragg after, instead of just as generic Fort Liberty,
Yeah.
that isn't after anybody other than the idea and the concept of, freedom and liberty, right? I get it, but if we've gone and named bases after people, name it after Benavides then. If you don't want to do Fort Hood.
Yeah.
Great general like Petraeus.
Yeah, I mean, the Marine Corps has got like great names of all their bases, especially like the great General McCaxey.
McKenzie.
Yeah.
Rob got that one.
I got it too.
I thought all your bases are named after Navy installations because you guys are part of the Navy.
Oh, we don't own anything.
Men's department. Well,
Yeah.
it's nice not owning. You don't have to pay for the maintenance.
That's
costs.
right.
But you do all the labor.
Let the landlord fix that motherfucker.
Just renting here.
I do wish that they had named Fort Benning Fort Sherman instead, actually.
I'm not changing the names. I'm still calling it Fort Bragg.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Especially having resided there for as long as I have.
Now, Fort Gordon sucks. And so Fort Eisenhower, that's going to sound awesome for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because Gordon is a shithole.
They're going to
you
confuse
didn't
it
go
with
there.
every high school in
What
America.
about Fort Bradley?
Oh, President Bradley.
Omar Bradley.
Omar
Yeah,
Bradley.
Yeah.
One of the last 5 stars, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's he.
Yeah,
Fort Patton.
He's got that great vehicle named after him.
Fort Patton.
Yeah, phenomenal vehicle.
The Eisenhower, though, I like, though, a lot, though. That's a big one for me.
Yeah.
I'm a
As long
big-
as they don't do a Fort MacArthur, we're good.
Well, there is a Fort MacArthur. It's just sitting at the bottom of a nuclear wasteland.
Good, just like where that man's grave should be.
Oh.
So,
Because he led you guys through the whole... Oh.
No, because he fucking got us all slaughtered on Paleolithic
Yeah,
for no
'cause you're
fucking
just,
reason.
Because you guys were just Marines. He's Army.
Because he
like,
wanted to fucking boost his political capital for a presidential run that would you never get.
MacArthur was a terrible person.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Fucking horrible
He's
person.
totally a piece of shit. I just love getting riled up about it because I'm like,
yeah.
you mean the Army general that's in charge of your Marine campaigns down out there? Yes. Before we go on to some other stuff, there was one thing that came out last night, early this morning, whatever it was. They hey guys.
On the point with that, Pete.
Yeah.
I tried.
The Army is now getting the new smart optics. You know that one that you locks in on no matter what? Mm-hmm. So, dude, everyone should be expert, right? Expert?
Yeah,
Right?
expert.
No, somebody will still fuck it up, right?
Why did someone actually do that?
I don't know. I'm just figuring they'll fuck it up.
I'm reading how the system is supposed to work, and it's actually not going to release the round if you have it activated until you have 100% that it's going to actually hit.
Should shoot expert, and your
They're
weapon's
still going to
going-
mess it up.
So, so does anyone else see the
Big-
problem with this?
big time.
Yeah, how are you going to program PID and all that other shit?
Yeah, how are you
Yeah.
going to program suppressing fire?
Yeah, no,
You know,
you better just keep
Selector switch.
too much technology. I don't like it. Way too much.
Nah.
It's an 18 position selector switch.
all the way around it, cranking it. Fuck, I got it.
That said, this does not seem like it's meant for human targets. It's meant for drones.
No, they were still talking about human targets on that because I saw the
I mean,
video
this,
on it.
this seems something a little more practical on
Are you
like
really
a
gonna
large
shoot
bore
a drone?
cannon. Makes more sense to
Are you
me.
going to shoot a drone down with a rifle?
I mean, it's
I mean-
small, like those little guys, those little swarmer
Yeah,
things.
what are
If you
shotguns
could, those
for?
are fast, though. How are you going to
Yeah.
even...
I mean, that's the
But it's how
point
we're
of the problem.
overcoming
They're
it with
gonna sit there.
technology, right?
Yeah, I'm going to use this site.
Don't they have the drone guns anyways?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
electronic
Teddy-
warfare guns?
Teddy so wants to say something.
I invented a solution to drone warfare 10 years
Hold
ago.
on, Teddy. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Thank you. Thank you.
You take
Theodore,
two kites and
please
you
go
have a
ahead.
net in between the two kites and it catches the drone.
All right, I'm gonna be the one to ask. What do 2 Jewish people have to do with this?
Oh, so close.
I missed it.
Kite.
Oh,
Kite.
Oh, never mind.
Kite.
So
It's okay, I'm a Jewish, and so is he. We're allowing it. We're giving the pass, right? Right, Jones? Say yes. All right.
I'll allow it.
There we go. All right.
So you said you didn't like all of the new optics, like the smart optics that the specifically the Army's coming out with. So like, I think the new one that's going on the M5 or the XM5 right now.
Yeah, the Vortex one.
Yeah, the Vortex one. I think that's a good idea.
Sexy.
Whatever the hell the Army is thinking about with that thing, no, that is a terrible idea.
I don't like it. I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, I wouldn't mind having personally. Like,
Honestly,
cool.
Yeah.
But not in a combat.
And then
situation.
everybody's all like, "Well, I used to shoot with iron sights, you know." You
For
guys
sure.
have to
Something
do it
like that
now."
seems more practical for something firing like a high explosive round or something like that that has like a high degree of chance of collateral.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh,
that seems way more
yeah,
practical
absolutely agree with
for something like that than it does for like an average infantry rifle.
I completely
Yep.
agree.
And now standing on the MTO will be the drone platoon.
I mean, when I was deployed to Afghanistan, we actually had systems that were designed specifically for taking down drones.
I'm going to shove
Yeah.
this big black cock right here. There you go.
Okay. We actually had systems that were designed specifically to take down drones. It would interrupt their
Electromagnetic spectrum.
yeah. Well, it would interrupt their signal.
What does
fr-
autism
from
have to do with this?
It would interrupt their signal from the controller, and then it would there was a secondary button to completely cancel out their GPS. Because most drones nowadays, if they break signal from their controller, they'll just fly back to their last known location of the controller. So you also break the GPS signal, they'll just drop to the ground.
Interesting.
So the Army already has that sort of system, and like that's like we still require you're still required to identify that there's a drone there, which is hard on itself because it's a small system.
You got a picture of that one there, Jones? I see you looking
Yeah,
up shit up
the
here.
Ukrainians actually been using a pretty wide series of anti-drone weapons. So
they even
Yeah.
have their own line of
yeah,
anti-drone.
they do. This one
If you pull up the
right
one,
here, is,
Yep.
that's the
Yeah.
one that they created themselves. I believe this is German, and I think this is an older American model.
Jesus Christ, that thing
massive.
looks unwieldy as fuck.
yeah, the
There's
one
some engineer, it's like, oh yeah, they could totally carry this into combat. No problems whatsoever with this.
the one that we had
that a
looked like
FAMAS?
it was.
I love that video, by the way.
The one that we had looked like it was like straight out of one of the Ghostbuster movies. That thing was like had a backpack and everything. It was ridiculous.
In all fairness, Pete, that was clearly an AUG.
yeah.
Look at that.
Which did you hear? They're bringing out GoldenEye on fucking the Switch. Yeah, within a year.
Look at this
Golden
fucking
gun,
thing.
baby.
Blow
Does
thing
that
up.
look familiar?
Holy shit.
I know the Marines are using that too.
No, because it had
deploying it
a-
on
Wasn't that in
walls.
Terminator 2?
Yeah.
No, because it had a very nice holographic sight, which was really nice to see that because we were still rocking CCOs. So
What were you saying, Rob?
Oh, I was saying the Marines were they're doing that too. So like the LHD, which is what we get transported in by the Navy, the newer one's called the Wasp, but they were in by Iran, and they shot down an Iranian drone. It was kind of similar to the Predator drone, their version of it.
Yeah.
So it looks nothing like any of those pictures. It looks like a damn old school antenna that you would put on to get TV signal. And they were just doing it off the deck of it, but apparently it works.
Which also from Ukraine, right? They've been shooting out a lot of the Iranian drones, right? And Iran's like, we never gave Russia any drones.
The suicide drones.
Yeah.
Well, he's looking. Look at
that sort of looked like it. Again, this was
Yeah,
2-3
no, I'm just
years
trying to find a
ago,
good
so-
picture
That
of
looks
them.
kind of cool, though.
Yeah, it
Blow
looked
that
a
one up.
lot like that.
Blow that one up right there. That's
Alright.
like a.
Even though the
is that a
Army's
hollow
getting
sun?
that new optic, I'm more interested in that new night vision they're coming out with.
Yeah.
That
Shit.
shit
Oh,
is
I've-
awesome.
Absolutely.
I've
Yeah,
seen.
because that means all the stuff that they currently have is going to get pushed out to the civilian market.
Yeah.
And us,
Dirt
and the
cheap.
Marines.
Yeah.
Like I said, civilian market.
Oh my God, we all have 14 Bravos now. Whoa!
I've seen some of the videos of like the new night vision from my buddies and over in Second ID. Dude, that shit is so cool.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Hey, you want a vape, by the way?
Oh,
You
yeah.
want? There you go.
Lawmakers want to replace thank you for your service with something even more meaningless. During the global war on terror, the term thank you for your service became a way for the majority of Americans who lived with their lives unaffected by the U.S. wars in Iraq and Afghanistan to show their support for America's sons and daughters in harm's way without actually doing anything but putting up a yellow ribbon on the back of their trunk. Now, 2 lawmakers have introduced a resolution that would supercharge this well-intentioned, albeit meaningless gesture by having the House of Representatives support the term thank you for our freedom. as a better way for Americans to show their appreciation to active duty service members and veterans.
If they really want to show their appreciation to us, punch a politician in the face.
Bingo.
If of all the issues facing our country, this is what you thought was important.
It came with a $1 million price tag. No.
Exactly.
Because the measure is non-binding, it
It's
cannot
probably
be
an omnibus bill, too.
Yeah. It cannot be enforced, even if it is eventually passed by the House, making it purely symbolic.
So why the fuck are we doing it? Oh, wait.
Could you
know-
just imagine some fresh out of fucking basic or boot? It's thank you for our freedom, not sir.
it's probably got a rider on it to pay for gender studies in Pakistan.
Jesus.
We need a war.
Kind of like
Yeah.
kind of like the COVID
We were
relief.
just talking about that too back at the unit with some of us, right? We're just like, you know what we really need right now is another war. This whole like trying to get back to garrison shit is really
Yeah,
pissing me
sucks.
off.
It's
Yeah.
because
Right.
they're trying to figure out how to fix stuff that doesn't need to be fixed just because they got to justify their high pay, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like, we need to go back to doing some gangster shit, you know?
Yep.
Hey, you need that
Like-
$700 billion budget, right?
Like-
Fucking A. This resolution will help ensure that those of us blessed to call America home understand the personal importance of our servicemen and women's sacrifice for our nation.
Yeah,
Representative Jack Bergman, Republican out of Michigan, said in a statement after
I
introducing the measure. along
Guaranteed so much freedom fighting in Iraq.
With who?
With, you interrupted me
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. It just...
Well, there's
okay.
another. Oh, so is it
Along with
Republican?
Representative J. Lewis Correa,
I was gonna say,
Democrat
so
out of California.
Democrat
Oh,
and
this is
Republican.
bipartisan.
Bipartisan.
Yeah.
Hey, they're working together. Good for
Yes.
them.
Yeah, on something
on something
fucking
so
stupid.
It's something stupid that supports the troops, so of course it's going to have bipartisan support.
I got a new slogan.
Wait, are they both up for re-election?
You like
Yeah,
Wait, Rob's got a
I
new
gotta-
slogan.
Here we go.
Thank you for your freedom. Fuck you. Works.
Oh,
God, so
good
fucking
shit.
stupid.
All right, this is somebody that I almost put on the POG Pro. I probably might be POG Pro. So who wants this one? Anybody?
I'll take it.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
take it.
Okay.
Coast Guard rescue swimmer praised by Biden faces separation over COVID-19 vaccine refusal. Wait, that's still a thing now?
Yeah, that's still going on.
A heroic Coast Guard rescue swimmer who received a personal thank you call from the President Joe Biden for saving Florida residents trapped by rising floodwaters during the Hurricane Ian is reportedly set to be involuntarily separated for not getting vaccinated for the novel coronavirus.
Rough.
Aviation survival technician second class Zach Losich.
Yeah.
Loesch. All right.
Loesch?
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I was close.
Carry on.
Told Breitbart News that he expects to be discharged within the next 60 days for violating the Coast Guard's mandate that all personnel be vaccinated. Isn't this like a couple of years too late for that, right?
It's still it's happening though.
Yeah. Loesch also said that his application for religious exemption and its subsequent appeal had both been denied. I don't know how you can deny that. It's religion.
But it got denied.
Yeah.
Biden told reporters on September 30th that he had spoken with Loesch and the Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander Christopher Hooper to thank them and the Keep Up Anonymous and the rest of the service for launching search and rescue efforts after Hurricane Ian slammed into Florida on September 28th as a very strong Category 4 storm. Loesch told Breitbart that he did not want to ruin his call with the Biden by mentioning that he is being discharged for not being vaccinated. Fuck, I would.
Yeah,
I
but
would've.
yo, bro, like, come on.
You're
Like-
being discharged. What do you got to lose?
Oh,
bud?
you're
Yeah.
oh, you're praising me, but you're kicking me out at the same time. Fuck you.
Please.
Anyway.
Yeah. Go
Like Biden knew what was going on anyways.
I don't think he knows where he is right
Well,
now.
Yeah.
What?
He probably still thinks he's a senator in '93, trying
You
to
guys
pass
want
the
to get
crime
ice
bill.
cream? You want to get ice cream?
I cannot say nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
With the whole
No comment.
Poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
No comment
yeah,
for
I don't know. With the whole like COVID-19 thing, it's like you join the army to have the government tell you when to jump and how high. Like I got anthrax shot into me for my deployment.
Except for the fact that you were allowed to refuse the anthrax shot.
it wasn't told
Wait,
to me.
what?
Anthrax shot is completely voluntary.
I was told get
even though it is
Lyme.
even though it has been highly tested for like I believe over 100 years,
Yeah.
it still has
100
some
years?
Yeah, it's been around for a while, but because it's a livestock disease, so like farmers and stuff have been getting it forever to protect themselves. But like the thing is, there's side effects with it that can be very severe.
No.
And
Anthrax?
Yeah,
Like anthrax.
I know, right?
I got
Yeah.
the thrax.
And then, so as a result, the military has made that a pretty voluntary vaccine.
Yeah, that obviously that's never, but that was never.
Also, they
Told to
did
us?
you ever get to finish the cycle of the vaccine?
I don't
no,
know.
you probably
I
had to start it like 6 fucking times and never got it done.
Yeah, I know. They told me, hey, report over to.
Yeah, you get a
Guthrie.
shot this week, you get a shot next week, then you have
Yeah,
to wait 3
yeah, it
weeks,
was-
and then you have to get one 6 weeks after that, and then by the way, you're in country, and
Yeah.
no one decides to give you it.
Yeah.
Well,
next story is going to be glamorous.
I feel robbed. You said it's
Rob, you
volunteer.
feel robbed?
Yeah, there's no No, I couldn't say no to that. It's
Yeah.
just like, here, we're giving you shots. All right, cool.
Yeah, that was.
I know you
feel
saw
sick.
Jarhead. Don't take the PPV pills. Let your dick fall.
Army sergeant had the military give her implants for her mental health, but then started doing adult entertainment on active duty. Is that her?
Yeah, that's
Fuck
her.
out of here.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Yes. Ready? Yeah, exactly.
So I knew that was a thing, that you can get plastic surgery paid
Yeah.
for by the government
So
because of that.
stories were a little light in the humor and exciting stuff right this week, right? And all of a sudden I go to a popular military for. I'm like, all right, let's go check out them because my mainliners are hitting up, and all of a sudden I'm like, what is this? I went to popularmilitary.com.
You
That
did
site
vet
sucks,
this,
but-
right? This is
Yes.
This is
it's legit.
This isn't like Duffel Blog or Onion or anything.
nope.
Yeah, no.
So can we link her?
Can you start pulling up her
Can we
info
get a
in a second?
sponsor?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can-
By the way, her name is.
Ooh.
Go on and.
All right, let me start reading this.
Yeah.
An adult actress
Everyone gets
reportedly
excited.
used her time in service to get the assets she needed to succeed, all due to a little loophole in the military medical system.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee Gunner was a human resource specialist. Of course, she's a 42 alpha.
That's how she knew the loopholes, man.
in the Army, but decided to embark on a new career after her divorce from her now ex-husband. On the Holly
But
Randall
he's kicking
Unfiltered
himself.
podcast, Gunner claimed she was directed by her regular surgeon to an Air Force surgeon, especially if she wanted breast implants. I told my surgeon about my situation with my husband and that we got divorced, and he would kind of joke about my boobs a lot, she recalled. If you have any sort of mental problem with your body or body dysmorphia, they'll give you free cosmetic surgery because they want their soldiers to be confident. He was like, I would love for you to be my guinea pig and send you up there and see how it turns out. So it was a free boob job, she said of her surgeon. It worked, and the military approved the Army sergeant to get what she wanted for free. The Air Force does amazing boobs, she said. I salute the Air Force. Gunner admits she didn't wait to begin her adult career until after she left the Army, something which is a violation of the UCMJ. I actually started camming while I was in the military, which is not allowed.
No.
I did it in my last year because I wasn't making any money, she said. Of
They stopped paying her in that last year.
Of course
Yeah.
not.
I met some girls who were cam girls. I was like, you're making what I make in a year, but in a month. I need to do what you're doing. So
Yeah,
when I saw I was
you
getting
should.
comfortable with that, I can get out of the Army and survive.
Absolutely.
She even highlights her military service in her adult videos. For example, one video is titled, Ex-military first-timer Kaylee Gunner gets splatted with cum.
Now that was a good one. So I did some research on these.
I bet
know
you
why.
did.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
With your VR goggles.
All through the
My
Oculus.
favorite though of hers was my stepsister Swallows 3. That was a really good one too. She was in. She's fantastic.
Did you put links in the description of this
Yeah.
video?
Does she have a link tree so that we don't get like banned by YouTube?
I got
No,
her Twitter
but-
and her Instagram right
Yeah,
now.
let's
Okay.
pull up. Can we pull up? Yeah,
we need to put that in the description.
get
of the
that
video.
Instagram.
What does
up.
that
I saw
twatter
some-
say?
Yeah, get the Instagram up. She's got some.
As you're pulling that up, let me finish this off.
Yeah.
You want me to put this
adult-
on full?
Yeah. Let me get rid of her. I don't want to.
The adult actress now wonders if her surgeon has seen his handiwork since her discharge.
I'm gonna bet probably.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I was getting my boobs done, the doctor said, I don't want to give you porn star boobs. You don't need huge boobs. And the irony that I'm a porn star now, she remarked.
Oh my god.
So when is she going to get the vaginal rejuvenation surgery?
Oh man, it's hey, what are you doing there?
Well, she's out of the military. She has to pay
Don't
for it
log
now.
any shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the one with the boots though. I love those cami boots.
Yeah. The second one up
What's it?
top.
Third to the right there. Yeah. Can we just blow that one up there? Is that possible? No.
No.
Can we just do a zoom in thing?
Instagram paywall.
Do the zoom in thing. Fuck the paywall thing. No.
Yeah.
Do the. There you go. You want to control and scroll.
Oh my God! Just quit.
Oh my god! Look at that though, right? Anyway, sorry, I got distracted with that.
Before we exit the recent news, so something that's affected me personally is The VA has not given any basic allowance for housing out.
That's what we're going to talk about after that.
Oh, okay.
Where we're going to segue from
Okay.
sweet porno star to your VA bullshit.
Yeah, so VA bullshit, as is usual.
All right.
Wait,
Talking
the
to
VA
Mike.
is supposed to give us basic housing allowance?
I'll allow it.
If you're in the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Oh, you're talking about that. I already
Yeah.
got that shit.
So for a lot of service members, including myself, the VA has not given, has failed to process any payments for your basic allowance for housing.
How long have you waited so far?
So it should come out for the first of October. It's now 7 October, and like thankfully I live in I'm in a situation where that isn't an issue necessarily, but there are going to be a lot of veteran students who are living paycheck to paycheck.
5 months for them to do the payout for me.
Really?
5 months because I was right when the 9/11 went into effect, and
Yeah.
everybody took advantage of that, and they could not process it. So as a result, myself and a lot of other people pretty much just drained every dime we had out of our accounts just to go to school.
Yeah.
And I actually had to take out student loans because I couldn't afford to not go to school, and the GI Bill was not paying me, and they were very non-helpful.
So that was at the beginning of the post 9/11 GI Bill. So I think the difference here is that this should be routine for them.
It should be routine, but also we are now in a stand-down period. We are no longer at war, and a lot of people are getting kicked out because of vaccines and just leaving the service because administration.
Yeah. And so, but a lot of people for, the month of October haven't gotten their payments yet. And so, like, if you're a college student living on a shoestring budget and that basic allowance for housing helps you out.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah, that's
Okay, you know what? Both of you ruined my boner over the last thing I had.
You're welcome.
good.
The Tits McGee thing was so hot, and then you talked about real shit, and I'm just so.
You got to
fucking
watch it
in
on an
with that.
Oculus. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
Good.
Which segues into
Yeah, let's. What do we
Pete's
got?
favorite.
our military satire of the week.
Are we there? Here we there. All right, go for it.
Airman successfully opens MRE with mouth. Breaking news.
They even know what those are?
A United States Airman is being heralded as a hero.
Heralded.
Pete fucks up twice in a week. That's awesome.
After becoming the first service member in history to successfully open an MRE with only his mouth. Last Friday, Air Force Staff Sergeant Joe Davis showed great personal courage, ingenuity, and psychotic disregard for his own personal safety when he tore open an MRE with his pearly white teeth. According to Davis, he wasn't trying to show off or do anything exceptional. Rather, he says he was just trying something new, and he was hungry. I had never seen an MRE before, said Davis. I was having a lot
There it
of
is.
trouble opening it, and there weren't any soldiers nearby to open it for me, so I decided to try to rip it open with my teeth. It worked, but I scratched my face a little. According to eyewitness accounts, Davis was participating in the first and probably only field problem of his career when someone accidentally handed him an MRE instead of the lobster and corn creme brulee he had requested for lunch. The standard operating procedure for United States Airmen encountering MREs is to break contact and fall back to the nearest Air Force dining facility. With no such option, Davis spent the next several minutes struggling to open an MRE with his well-lotioned hands before ripping into the plastic packaging with his teeth. In this manner, Davis managed to open the bag, but with so much gusto that the shredded plastic inflicted a massive gash upon the side of his face that will leave him disfigured for the rest of his life. 100% disability.
Yep.
Was it worth it? Davis says yes. He told Coffee or Die magazine that he plans on needing the MRE as soon as he's able to move his face without ripping out one of his 47 stitches. The MRE I got is called cheese and veggie omelet, he said. I bet it's pretty good. Oh, you poor thing.
Air Force. That's cute. That's cute. All right. It's that time of the week. Time for our POG Pro. All right. And our POG Pro, who wants a her?
I'll
Is
do
her?
it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
POG Pro Marine Colonel Nicole Mann.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Becoming a Marine is no small feat, so becoming a Marine turned astronaut might simply sound out of this world.
Nice.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you like that?
Not, however, for Colonel Nicole Mann, 45, former FA-18 Hornet and Super Hornet test pilot who is leading the SpaceX Crew 5 team to the International Space Station.
They just got up there, too, and they're up there, and they're all safe.
Word.
Everyone's getting laid because the Marine's in charge.
Because of
Yeah.
Elon.
Well,
Yeah.
and everyone's getting laid, though.
Yeah.
Marines like the fuck. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, it wasn't until I was in my mid-20s flying jets in the Marine Corps that I realized that being an astronaut was not only something that was a possible dream, but was actually something that was quite attainable.
But NASA wouldn't talk to you because NASA doesn't know what the Marine Corps is.
Well, it's because, she salutes like this and not like, anyway. Mann said during a team press conference, while she is not the first woman or Marine to travel to space, Mann's journey to reach the stars nonetheless demonstrates her remarkable commitment to serve her country and the world.
Salute to you, ma'am.
Also, that is pretty dope with like private space flight now being
Yeah.
a thing. That is opening a lot more doors, whereas NASA's like strict entrance.
Yeah, how's that moon thing going?
What, for NASA?
Yeah.
I don't know. Elon will get there
You're
first.
like a mile away from mine.
Whatever. Fuck you.
Wasn't that
Finally. Thank you. Fuck off.
The
I'll do what
first
I want.
African American badminton team goes off into space.
Well, no, that Japanese.
Where's that
billionaire-
article?
Hold on, wait a second.
The Japanese billionaires.
I want to
going
know how
there
that
to,
shuttlecock flies.
The moon. That Japanese billionaire's going to the moon next year with
Good for him.
SpaceX.
So, what's that
He-
show on?
He bought all the tickets at. I think they said like. I don't know. They were estimated.
Bro, I'm
500,000
going to have
a
my
spot.
bachelor party on the moon.
All right, it's that time of the week. It's time for.
This is the scumbag moment.
Oh, Scotty. All right, scumbag service members of the week. All right, first scumbag up. Who wants this piece of shit? Not that bad, but bad.
Anyone in the AF?
Oh, man. Are any Air Force fuckers around here?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
I'll take it.
Oh.
An Air Force sergeant will face a general court-martial to determine whether he orchestrated an insider attack on a U.S. outpost in Syria in April that injured 4 service members.
Jesus, he went all out, didn't he?
I guess he is pretty bad.
you gotta get your combat badge somehow.
General court martial.
Air Force officials say they are moving forward with a general court-martial against Tech Sergeant David Deswan Jr., who prosecutors say set off explosives inside of an American base in Syria on April 7, 2022.
He was just cleaning the 203.
Andy. Officials initially thought the attack at the mission support site Green Village, a small outpost near the Iraq border, was by insurgents, but now believe Deswan set the charges. In earlier court hearings, Air Force lawyers did not indicate a specific motive for Deswan, besides some text messages he sent that they say indicated general dissatisfaction with his deployment to a small
Isn't
base.
that like everyone?
Yeah. So
I don't know a deployment that's like in an area of the Middle East like that. That's fun.
no.
I love it here.
Did this one not have like a Subway and a Pizza Hut? Is that why he got upset,
Yeah.
or did they not have the Popeyes chicken? Like what?
Yeah, he wasn't in Kandahar with their circle of fucking fast food restaurants. So
Yeah.
best thing was
I know a kid that came
blow the
off a
place
6-month deployment in Iraq with only
Page
$800
2.
because that's
What?
all he ate
Page
at.
2.
Yeah, I didn't even finish the first page.
No, we like to interrupt. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
We like to just interject.
No,
during
I
your-
was just trying to figure out if he's still on page 1 or page 2.
He's on page
page
1
one.
still.
Yeah.
Go on though. Let's hear the rest of it though.
The blast, which struck at 1:07 a.m. and 1:09 a.m., injured 4, including Deswan, and destroyed around $50,000 worth of equipment, including a latrine shower unit and gear used for explosive ordnance disposal.
So
shower.
basically, what happened is this explosive went off, destroyed a thermite grenade,
Yeah.
and then the other, 49,000 and change was the shower unit.
He was lighting cherry bombs in the shitter.
All right, there's more to this though. Like, why they got
get
him?
off anymore
Yeah.
unless I hear explosions in the air.
I can't get off unless I smell shit.
Deswan faces 3 specific. I can't even say this right now. Specifications. Specifications. Shut up.
of an
Of an aggravated assault charge, in addition to charges of destruction of government property and reckless endangerment. The Air Force initially
indicated.
Shut up. Indicated.
He doesn't
Deswan
have
with
a
two.
Hooked on Phonics Semper Who edition. Right?
Yeah.
No,
It's all
I
right.
don't.
You're right. It was indicted.
It's okay. It takes a while.
It's indicted.
Force-
Yeah.
Air
It's
Force initially indicated Deswan with 2 other charges of unauthorized
Another grunt.
access to a government computer and failure to protect classified information.
Showing you that infantry can
But
read.
the presiding official at the previous hearing recommended the classified documents charges be dropped, and the Air Force complied.
He left his CAC card in. That's what it was.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Marines interrupting Marines on words and then getting it wrong while they're interrupting.
That's what we do.
That's why
then
that's why the Army had to step in
And then
to
Army
fix the
infantry steps
issues.
in with his soft voice.
Yeah.
Such a soft voice. Oh my god. Well, there's more. Whoever
All right,
wants to finish it.
I'll finish it.
Do
This
Yeah,
month's
you.
Article 32 hearing on August 23rd. Similar to a grand jury hearing in civilian court, the Air Force presented a case that hinged heavily on what Air Force prosecutors Captain Taylor Brown called overwhelming circumstantial evidence. The physical evidence was limited to soil samples, bomb fragments, and metal shavings.
So your typical,
And a stool sample.
Yeah, and so your typical bomb.
Yeah.
I could just imagine the Air Force CSI. Says, there's semen everywhere.
So much jizz everywhere.
We found it in his boots.
Wait, in the boot? Oh yeah, he fucks his boots.
Investigators homed in on Deswan's because of his position as the EOD team leader with a knowledge and understanding of explosives or of the explosives that were suspected of being used in the detonation, as well as the opportunity to set them. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought to set them off.
Is
would have been
is
like,
tech
set 'em.
sergeant in the Air Force? What rank
E5.
is it? It's an E5.
Yep.
He's an EOD tech.
Right? No, that's E6.
So
Shit, I was getting that.
Tech
mixed up.
sergeant's E6.
E6. That's correct. Yeah, E6.
Okay, that makes sense. Then.
Yeah, staff sergeant. That's what always fucks me up. Staff sergeant's E5.
yeah. So
Ugh,
so
so weird.
What I want to know is, did he send his friends a message of like, hey, don't be at Tower 13 and Tower 12 at
I don't know.
don't go to Tower today.
The opportunity. Yeah, I'm gonna give. I don't want to give him guilty just yet
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he's. I don't know. It seems a little.
gonna-
The evidence is a little. It probably was him. Can we get like a half gavel
Allegedly,
I know exactly what he sent to his friends.
be just
Yo,
a
these
maybe-
latrines are lit, bro.
there? Yeah, like a little. Like, what do you got? What do you got for us? There, Pete, can you just tap it lightly.
No, it's pending.
It's pending. Like you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Undecided. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like he's on the list. He made the list. There wasn't a lot of scumbags this week. Thank God.
There's no diddlers either.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Got.
No, but
That's a good sign, right?
Maybe the military's cleaned up its act a bit.
It
Yeah, they all
was a
got
good
kicked
week
out
for the
for-
Department of Defense.
Vaccine
Yeah.
violations.
I mean, they
Yeah.
really didn't have much. All right, hey, that's not bad though. You know, what?
We're changing over from hot to cold season. Yeah.
yeah, it's fall.
It's gonna chill out until around Christmas.
pumpkin spice.
He was getting cold there in Iraq.
Yeah. All right, it's that time of the episode here. Time for our military movie review, and also don't forget next episode. Win that $500 Visa gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Catch that one. All right, our guest.
Split it with you, and I'll tell you the answer.
Fuck off. You picked a pretty great movie, by the way.
I forgot how great this movie was because I hadn't watched it in a while.
I hadn't seen it since high school.
Yeah.
It's
I
been exactly. It was my thoughts on this one. So you picked Glory,
Yeah.
1989, man.
Not
That
Glory
was-
Hole.
but
Glory.
Glory. Yeah.
Just glory.
All right, ready for this one?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's break it down here. Robert Gould Shaw leads the U.S. Civil War's first all-black volunteer company, fighting prejudice from both his own Union Army and the Confederates.
Prejudices.
Starring Matthew Broderick as Colonel White Privilege. I mean Robert Gould Shaw and Denzel Washington, Private Tripp. Carrie Elves. It's Elves, right?
Elways.
Elways. I can never get his last name.
Robin
I
Hood Men
love
in
him.
Tights.
I know. He was so great in it.
Unlike-
As
Also,
Major
Princess
Cabot Forbes.
Bride?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
know who he is very much. I can
Yeah,
never pronounce
apparently
his
not.
name. Yeah, I just can't pronounce his name. You know me last names. Morgan Freeman.
Also, Hot Shots.
Is it Freeman or Man? I don't know. As Sergeant Major John Rollins. All right, so, dude, speaking of Colonel White Privilege over here, holy shit, great fucking.
So
movie.
I did.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of digging after I watched the movie and sent my notes and all that stuff. When he was promoted to the rank of colonel, do you have any idea how old he was?
25.
25 years old.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
25-year-old fucking
You're not the only
Fulber.
one that did some research.
Yeah.
Got that money.
Well, that's what happens
No,
when
that's-
Dad is taking care of.
Well-
By the way, besides all that, which is crazy, right? He turned out to be a fantastic leader, in my opinion. From
Right. But it was
the
also
history
about
books.
finding someone to take over command of a black regiment. There wasn't people lining up to do that.
Well, the reason he was selected is because his parents were very, very prominent abolitionists for like a long
And he
time.
was also by proxy.
Very much so.
Correct. But it's also, again, going to the point that not anyone was lining up to take command of this regiment.
You know what, Sami? Let's hit your notes up, and we'll get into our own stuff here.
You
Ready?
can always tell when a movie's really good because I do not write a whole lot about it because there's nothing to really write about.
Yeah.
I can't really critique the uniforms for accuracy because, I didn't serve then, so I don't know.
Actually, something I wanted to add. So I watched this with my partner who knows a lot about like historical dressing and stuff like that, and they were going off about how accurate the movie was, even with like in the few scenes that they had like females in like a ballroom setting. Even with that, like all the even the stitching and like how they styled.
How high definition is your TV?
It was a massive fucking TV.
Fuck, I need to upgrade.
Yeah, but they were going on about how proper and how accurate the stitching was and the costuming was for the time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like,
All right.
Yeah.
Hit it up, buddy.
All right. So,
Ted got so excited about that comment.
I-
He was like, yeah.
well, look at that shirt. Of course he got excited about it.
Zoom in nice and tiny. What is that on there?
there's butterflies. There's
Flowers.
Yeah,
It's kind of like Hawaiian.
I
splattered
chose the
paint.
gayest shirt that I could for this.
It's
podcast.
Hawaii.
You did.
Yeah.
It was
Just
There's
for you.
nothing
Thank
gay.
you.
There's
Thank
nothing
you.
gay about that shirt.
It's
I don't
Hawaiian
I don't
chic.
know.
All right. All right. So I found the opening shot of the movie really kind of set the pace and tone for the movie as a whole, and also depicting one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War, if not the bloodiest battle, the Battle of Antietam Creek.
Yeah, but they didn't really.
They didn't show a whole lot.
Yeah,
of it,
they didn't show a lot of that war though. In that, it was a quick. He's up there.
Yeah,
like,
but
it's
this is
kinda
all.
It's
This
trying
is
to
also,
show him.
This is also
as,
like '89 too, so like ultra realistic kind of stuff was really not in vogue either.
No, but it also had to, just set the tone, right? You just needed to know that Antietam was a shitty fucking battle for both sides in terms of man loss and et cetera, right?
Theodore's going crazy. Let's have it.
So also like one of the things, like they showed a little bit of blood, and that's extremely unusual for a Civil War movie. Because like if you watch Gettysburg and Gods and Generals, which the latter is a terrible movie.
I believe Gettysburg was actually released after Glory.
So if
I
you,
preferred Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
100%. Yeah.
Shattering that fucking tree.
I thought that was a great movie, by the way. Anyway,
So like the fact that they showed even a modicum of blood, it was
Fancy words.
you're using a lot of $5 words here.
I am.
Well, also, it did depict like the brutal injuries that were sustained by
Yeah.
a lot of troops in the Civil War in the,
Or like the
medical
amputation.
tent. Yeah.
Yep.
Guy getting pulled out on a litter with missing both legs and shit like that. Guy screaming to stop sawing and all that stuff.
yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, no anesthetic back then aside from some whiskey if you were lucky.
No, false. They actually did have
Well, they did, yeah, but I mean, like, there was probably in very short
a
supply.
lot of chloroform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were
one
actually
of-
calling
Heroin.
Yes, they did call for chloroform in the movie. One of the best experiences I had growing up as a kid was actually going to the big Civil War reenactment they have up in Wisconsin every year. I forget exactly where the hell it is and what it was called, but I mean, this thing was huge.
Big
And
battles up in Wisconsin during the Civil War, huh?
Yeah.
It's a reenactment, guy.
Up there in Kenosha County.
It's always Sheboygan.
Sheboygan all the way up there.
The Sheboygan regulars patrolled through this area, don't you know?
But,
Nothing ever happened up here, but we had some cheese curds.
But they got to
yeah.
go to their fish fry every Friday.
Yeah, it was pretty
Oh,
good
don't
back
you
then.
know?
At the Super Club, don't you know?
Yeah.
But from a historical perspective, a
Yeah.
great experience growing up. One of those things I always look back on very fondly. But
No, that's
Yeah.
cool, though.
Also, why Chicago has a couple of neighborhoods are named after actual Civil War forts and prisons and stuff. Anyway, another thing, I found it lovely that back in the day, it only took the governor to promote you 3 ranks in the federal military.
Right?
Like,
He went
I've
from-
petitioned the governor.
they've adopted the National Guard model.
Yeah, he went from, captain to colonel,
Yep.
that.
Yeah, well, they kind of glossed over it in the movie, but in real life, he did actually serve some brief time as a major and a lieutenant colonel.
Enlisted
and then,
to it, by the way.
Yeah, he was enlisted prior to.
Yeah.
And then went all the way up to full bird, but that was in the span of like 6 months.
His statue, actually, or the statue of that battle. Oh my God!
So
I want to see that
one
in person.
One
Go
of
to
the things I
Boston.
found out after watching the movie and researching, one of the only things that the Confederates did properly, well, didn't do so, because he was leading a black regiment, they looted his body for anything that was of value, including his sword. It was then grabbed. It was found in 1865, and it was transferred back to his parents. And then it basically became a family heirloom and just got lost.
Really?
Yeah, and it was recently discovered. It was found in an attic in 2017.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, and
And
it was
yeah,
like
so-
donated to the
yeah.
was it the Boston Historical Society or
the
some shit?
Massachusetts
Yeah.
Historical Society. So, like,
I did some digging.
I need to find exactly where that sword is now in a museum, and then go visit that museum to see that absolute badass.
It's pretty fucking cool.
It's probably at
Yeah.
the Massachusetts
So-
Historical Society.
I think yeah, I know, right? So another thing, kind of going on there, and again, this is not really a comment on the movie or accuracy or anything like that, but like just watching them when they're in the camp in their tents with like 4 or 5 people to a tent and stuff like that. I'm just kind of curious, like looking at these Civil War tents. Where is the Jack Shack?
Yeah.
Right?
Where do you touch your penis?
Yeah.
Like where can you do
You
that,
just
right?
like whip it out in the tent with a bunch of guys. I mean, I've seen that when I was like, overseas, but like it wasn't a common occurrence by
So-
any means.
I think with
Rob was there.
with
Rob, you were there.
Tommy boy, Rob, you were there.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think with
RJ, I lost my virginity to your daughter.
yeah.
Rob,
Only the 90s plus generation will get
So
that.
it is one of the historical inaccuracies with the movie is that an army like that, they would have miles of camp followers, and so there were prostitutes in
I'm
those
sure.
camp followers. So like that's just like you didn't jack
bless your
off.
souls.
Yeah, you didn't jack off
No,
because
you got a lady
there was
of
a
the
dime.
evening.
There was a dime whore down, like just down the
I
road.
don't know. She was 15 cents.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I love how they had a very accurate portrayal of supply in this movie too. Just
My favorite scene.
100%.
yeah. Not giving them like the boots, the uniforms, anything that has been requisitioned over and over again. And this is like an actual like good thing, actually seeing like an officer like storm into supply and actually be like, no, give them the shit that they need.
But I've come across some great blueberry jelly.
Yeah, to change your mind on that bottle, you know.
Yeah.
But this is like a prime example of like people in supply and higher ups that are telling people on the ground what they do and don't need when that is obviously never the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. What you
Ooh.
man, you got a lot more here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the really great scenes that's done in this movie is the flogging scene. Keep in mind the majority of this regiment was freed slaves, or runaway slaves, some free men. So, but either way, these were volunteers. And when Denzel Washington like goes AWOL to basically look for shoes,
Pussy.
yeah, well, yeah,
little bit
that.
of
So
both.
he
Yeah.
said, a little bit of both. But anyway, when he's getting whipped and they pull his shirt off and all the scars and stuff like that, like that's pretty. That was pretty
so
intense.
that scene was like watching him just like stare at the
Yep.
at the colonel there.
Yeah.
And then finally like after like I don't know like 20th lashing, that tear comes down. I'm like, oh my god, Denzel. 'Cause and this is early Denzel.
Yeah, early
1989.
Denzel.
Denzel. Man.
There was a lot of like prominent black actors like nowadays.
God, yeah.
And that
Yeah.
like
Captain Holt from
yeah,
Brooklyn
that's
Nine-Nine.
what I was gonna say.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there was-
Also, after this, I watched Tuskegee Airman. He's in that too.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He played the fictional version of the first Air Force black general, 4-star.
Morgan though, Morgan Freeman though, just
Mm-hmm.
making like just ranking up though.
Yeah.
Like just
But also when he goes to like explain to Denzel, right,
Mm-hmm.
that It's not just about Denzel and that whole situation, just really kind of putting things in perspective in a way that Denzel in character can do so poignantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, go on.
Also, the general premise of the movie, like, focused around, like, how many people in the United States military and the United States in general did not think that black folk were competent enough to serve and fight and be able to fight. And I understand to a certain point that was like the prevailing thoughts of people at the time. So like one of the big issues with a lot of people these days is they tend to look at history through the lens of the present as opposed to the lens of the past. However, that being said, these people were good enough for manual labor back then. Even through that lens, why the thought of not having them fight didn't occur to them?
Because God forbid if they received any kind of notoriety or any kind of like valorous acts that would need recognition, you're then humanizing it and actually putting them on the same level, equating to whites.
So also having studied I'm a history student, having studied the Civil War as much as I have, a big thing with that is they didn't see black people and slaves as human beings. And even in the North, it was mainly fought like most people who were abolitionists, they were mainly abolitionists for purely economic reasons. So at the time, the South was industrializing, not nearly at the same rate that the North was. But
that's also today's the truth with that. The South is still slow as shit with that. But
well, that's what happens when you nap in the middle of the day.
So the North was the South was industrializing, and if they industrialized with an already subservient workforce, that would have made them 20 times more competitive than the North, who had to deal with they were getting immigrants and all that to work the shitty jobs in the factories.
Here's the other point with that though too, is that this was a prevailing thought even after the Civil War, going up all the way up to World War II, where even in World War I, when we sent troops over to fight, the majority of the black soldiers there were left in rear guard duties, digging trenches, doing supply, like logistics, that kind of bullshit, but they weren't allowed to go fight on the front lines in most cases.
So with that, it's like you have the historic case of the Harlem Hellfighters, and they were initially placed underneath French command, and the French command, because they were dealing with Moroccans who were also black units. They were like, hey, these Harlem Hellfighters, wonderful soldiers, like, can we get more of them? And the United States Army was like,
well, any American blacks that fought for any European nations in World War I or World War II were treated way better than they were by the United States.
Yeah.
There was a member of the Lafayette Escadrille that was a black man that wasn't even allowed to fly in the U.S. military when he got back from France, even though he was awarded some of the highest French honors as a pilot in the French Air Force and an American unit.
Once again, you surprised me and shocked me with your knowledge of shit because you're retarded. So, the fact that you know all this is just, it always blows my mind. Anyway.
I got a pornographic memory.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if anyone else caught this, but Hector Salamanca also fought for the Union.
I didn't catch that, actually. After your notes, I looked at it back and I went, oh, yeah, there it is.
Yep. Yeah, Hector Salamanca himself. Before he went to deal for the cartels, man, he fought for the rights of black folk.
So crazy.
Let's see. And thank God, by World War I, they did away with the infantry charges.
Yeah. LOL. Yeah. Never got rid of that. All right. Sami's notes. You picked a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
You picked a great movie, dude. I haven't seen it in 20 years. 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm thinking it was high school time.
Yeah, and if you look at like a lot of Civil War movies before that time, it was like John Wayne and like the
They're
horse
shit.
soldiers.
They're
They're so bad.
I've seen a couple there. Shit.
Yeah.
Great. Let's get some ratings. Everyone get their little chime in on the stuff. So I'm going to start off with mine. Let me pull this down. All right. So,
excuse me.
Thank you. All right. I'm giving it a 4.5. The only reason it doesn't get a 5 for me is there's about a scene or two where it's a little slow. Where like there were actually a couple scenes where it's like, Move it along a little bit. Like you could have just easily.
The first,
I get there.
the first hour kind of drags, and then it really kind of just.
It's an important drag though.
Steamroll.
There is some important drag in it, and you want to build some stuff up. But there were other extra parts where you're like, you just get through that. They should have edited that shit out. Everything else looked pretty well, looked pretty good. The history of it is pretty spot on, especially it's supposed to be,
It's
a true story.
Yeah.
And also, actually, the only part that kind of weirded me out with the Hollywood aspect that they fucked up is when they're charging that beach at the end at, what was the fort? They were
Fort Wagner.
Fort Wagner, right? You can see how rubber all the guns are, and they're running, and also you see the bend and all the rifles and like this. I'm like, Jesus, can you not just all right, you don't make them shorty. You didn't have to make them sharp at the point, but you couldn't use real wood.
That was another thing too. I was gonna
they were all bouncing.
I was gonna point out too when they're fighting in the woods and stuff like that. There, if you notice, there's a few people that don't even have fixed bayonets.
Yeah, it's
so that was one of the things of you have an infantry unit you have an infantry unit moving up against you at that time. It's the first thing personally I would have done is fixed bayonets because we're less.
It's
than,
going to devolve into a spear combat.
Yeah, we're less
at
than
that point.
50 yards away from each other.
great combat scene though.
Oh
Great.
yeah.
But that it's 4.5 for me, and that's my reasons for it. It's stupid little things. I would have given it a 5. This close to it, stupid little small things.
Honestly, I think
give
if
it
the
a 5
movie
for
had
me.
been made about 10 years later, I think.
Oh my god!
I think it would have been.
It still has a great rate. Jonesy, can you look up IMDb's and Tomato? And
I
all
know.
the whole works,
I know.
what
I know that the ratings are
through the roof. I know
stupidly high on that.
Petey, what do you got?
I gave it a 5.
5.
I was hovering between 4.5 and 5. Same
Because they
thing.
didn't go to Fort Sill.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't still. That's me.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss.
Whatever.
No, what's it called? I agree with you, OG, on some of the things that some of the scenes were just slightly longer than they needed to be.
Right.
The ones that
It
really
seemed-
didn't contribute much. But nonetheless, I mean, I've seen this movie
Fantastic movie.
so long ago. Last night, actually is when I got a chance to rewatch it, and I'm like, yeah, I missed how great of a movie this is. There isn't a lot of Civil War movies that are just phenomenally
This is the one.
yeah.
This is the only Civil War movie that I think
Right.
is. That's it. Because I hate that fucking war too. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so for me, it's a 5. You guys know
What about Dances with Wolves?
I hardly give 5s out, and this is a good one for me.
All right, Petey. I mean, just the passion on him for a movie. You know how it is with Petey's a movie, and a 5 from him.
Well, his dad didn't serve. in Civil
Yeah,
War,
that's
so-
right. It wasn't. It's 1882.
Yeah. It was during Garrison time,
1861.
before the Spanish-American War.
Let's get Rob for a second here.
I gave it a solid 4.
4, there it is.
Yeah,
That's
I
still
know.
good. That's
a lot
fair
of
grade,
people were
though. It's
giving
fair
it 4.5,
grade.
but yeah, there was a lot of fluff in there, but some boring,
I want to hear the
boring
fluff.
scenes.
I wanna hear
Yeah,
no-
the
yeah,
I
the
wanna
fluff.
hear your
What-
the
fluff.
fluffer
fluff?
scenes. The fluffer scenes.
They were.
No,
fluffer
it's a
scenes.
great
Well,
movie.
there's some fluff scenes.
As far as Civil War movies go, it is my favorite. Because there's some other Gods and Generals
Yeah.
that put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln,
Yeah.
Vampire Slayer. Come on, guys.
Okay, so that comes in a solid.
What about
second.
Ironclads?
This is
Ironclads
6 out of
was
5.
good.
Gods and Generals is very much a reenactors movie. I can go on to that later. with
What-
you,
what about the
if you want me?
What
to.
about the Hunley? They made a really good movie about that.
What?
About the Hunley.
All right.
Don't know what you're talking about. I'm not big into the Civil
You
War.
don't know what the
Neither am I.
The Hunley was a Confederate submarine that was used in combat. It was credited with sinking a Union ship.
See, I'm actually on
See-
Rob's side of this. I'm not a big Civil War guy, but this movie.
Yeah.
Go on though, man. Go on.
No, I'm more of a World War I, II, and above.
Same.
You know, it's
Revolutionary too. I like
yeah,
that.
the whole muskets in a line shooting each other.
retarded.
Yeah, but you got to look at the Civil War in terms of technology that was gained out of it. That's when we started seeing iron hull battleships. It was precursors to the modern submarines. That was rifled muskets, revolvers.
He still
were
gave it a
brought
4.
into-
Yeah.
It's still Rob. His name's on the fucking screen. Rob. It's his turn.
No, it's all right. That's fine. It's
Defend your position.
I am.
Yeah.
I just again, it is a very good movie, but I think it's just because I'm not that big into the Civil War that maybe I didn't like it as much.
You know what? I completely agree with you. Once again, I don't like Civil War for one reason. It's Americans versus America. It's fucking horrible. I hate
No,
it.
it wasn't. It was Americans versus the Confederacy.
Yeah, it was Americans versus fucking
Same,
traitors.
still same thing. American. It's still American.
Listen,
It
here,
was
Johnny
brothers
Reb
versus
was no
brothers.
American.
Regardless, they were.
No.
I know what beliefs against this and that. And there were some rights and wrongs and that, but it's still Americans killing Americans. At the end of the day, still rough. I didn't like it. All
Better
right,
they,
Rob.
didn't
that
have,
Red.
they didn't have belt-fed machine
Better
guns,
than
so I
Red.
don't like it.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Thank
Yeah,
you
but
for
they
that.
did.
That was pretty
They
good.
did have
though.
magazine-fed
For a guy
Gatling
doesn't
guns.
like it, and
That's that belt-fed. I said there's no belt-fed machine
I know,
guns.
but they still
so I
had a
don't like
machine
it.
gun.
Yeah.
is
Hand
that-
crank.
Sam, I gave you yours. Yeah.
School machine. No, you didn't do
Oh
mine.
yeah.
yet.
Oh yeah. I'll do yours really quick. Then. All right.
I gave it a 4.75.
I didn't do a graphic for that, but that's as close as you're getting there. 4.75. That's pretty good for you. That's high.
That's
Yeah.
really high for me.
And an army movie too.
Yeah, it's because there's no Marines in there is why it didn't get a 5.
Yeah.
The Marines were over in Japan at the time.
All right.
Yeah.
4.7.
Yeah,
Yeah. obviously
no,
you
we
gave
were
your
fighting
notes.
ship-to-ship engagements on in the Civil War.
Okay. Yeah.
We also fought in the port of New Orleans.
Mm.
What were you doing else in the port of New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know,
Get my dick sucked.
Oh.
no, that was still under Confederate control then.
Yeah, but
They were
Marines,
they were
there's-
blockading and boarding
But there's
ships.
those Marines and the other Marines, and there's like Marine on Marine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
hot
now that
Marine
works.
on Marine action.
Yeah. I'll kill you. I'll kill you harder.
Rob, you were there.
Rob, you were there.
It's a different Marine Corps. It's a different Marine Corps back then.
Oh my God, Jonesy.
Yeah,
Jonesy.
4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5.
Honestly, I just wish it had been longer. You know, my usual thing of I would rather it be a series, not be just a feature-length movie, because a lot of shit gets cut. I know everyone said, like, yeah, there are some slow scenes, but
For a movie though,
yes.
you got to think the difference from a movie to series. That's a big
yeah.
difference.
To be fair to Jonesy's point there, especially right now would be a great time to make a series about that.
Oh,
Actually,
well,
yes.
so to make for Jones' point, right now would be a perfect time to make a Band of Brothers Pacific style
Civil
series,
War.
just
Jonesy
focusing
here.
on a single regiment or a single company.
Let's talk
At
after
that
the
point,
episode here.
yeah.
Let's get some.
agree.
Let's get some ideas going here.
Mhm.
Let's float something.
Well, they're
let's pitch something to
finishing up the
Hollywood.
Band of Brothers series. Well, there was the Pacific
They're
Band of
doing the
Brothers,
Air
Yeah, now
Force
they're
one
doing
now.
the Mighty
Yeah.
Eighth.
Yeah.
the Air Force, and
Which
then
when is that supposed
the
to
Navy.
release?
I don't know. Jonesy.
Oh, they're doing one for the Navy too.
Yeah. I think the Mighty Eighth got relegated to Apple only.
It did.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just
And I
like the
got
fucking
really
beer run
mad
movie,
about
which
that.
I'm not watching yet because I
How to
have
make sure
download
you're
it.
Oh,
not gonna make your
watch
budget
it.
back.
I didn't download it.
Yeah, well, I can't. My server's down. So I haven't downloaded yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. Anyway, Jonesy, good. Nice on that one, and I like the idea of it. That's actually would have been.
HBO?
That's why I like the length. That if you break it on a show, yeah, it makes sense. In a
Yeah.
movie, if you could do a movie, I like.
Well,
it
you
a
can
little-
get into more of the nuances. You really
Yeah.
can dive into the characters
right
a lot
and
better.
like when you're doing a movie, it's like you're dragging on scenes. Anyway,
Yeah.
and
And,
our
like-
guest that picked the movie,
Uh,
Theodore.
yeah.
What do you got here?
For me, it was a 5 out of 5
Solid 5.
for various reasons.
2 5s.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'm with Petey on this,
This is
one.
the highest rating we've ever had throughout everybody. Everyone's over 4+.
Mm-hmm.
With Rob over there. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Fuck
there wasn't
your
enough.
shit.
There wasn't enough ninjas in there for me. I didn't like it.
So
None of the blowjobs.
yeah.
No Chuck Norris and
Yeah.
Delta
Yeah.
Force. We need more Delta Force.
Pete was so disappointed at my rating in Delta Force. The look on
Dude,
his face.
I was actually
Mm.
shocked with Pete's 5. But anyway, go on with your 5, though. Keep going.
So for me, it was Matthew Broderick's character, Robert Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the movie, he was portrayed as a very timid person.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, he was still a timid person, but had a pair of balls underneath him.
Yes, the character, that's one thing. The character growth for him is fantastic.
yeah,
So you
and
see him like
for-
kind of a little bit of a poussoir in the very beginning, right? You know? He's like that battle. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
my
the
neck
battle
hurts. I'm
Antietam.
just going to play dead.
Yeah.
And then, like, Freeman walks up to him and goes, you done being a little
Little
bitch?
bitch. Yeah.
That's like, basically, right?
So
And then, and then turns out to be a fantastic leader.
yeah, and like just the character growth for all the characters and
Yes.
that is just perfect. And also like the point, like I know I sent you a message like 5 out of 5, almost cried because at the end, like when the 54th is walking down the gangway, and like the other regiment's like, let's hear it for the 54th. Like
Yeah.
the people that were initially like very racist towards them. It's like that brought a
Yeah,
tear
'cause that
to
fight
my eye.
earlier.
I can tell you exactly
Yeah.
what was said on that gangway in real life. Better you than
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
In
the movie
reality.
portrayed it so much better, and it was brought
no.
a tear to my eye, and then like
Great flick.
Colonel Shaw's like last charge up the bank and then gets
What
shot.
they really needed was Adam Baldwin in there playing Civil War version of Animal Mother.
Yeah. And if they wanted more realistic stuff, they should have Alec Baldwin there. People
Yeah.
who really died.
Then he
That
would have
would've
he would have
been
had
bad,
3 of America's major
Just
wars
saying.
under his belt playing the same character.
That, by the way, that movie's actually still coming out.
What?
The Alec Baldwin one.
Yeah.
Rust?
Yeah.
Wait, the one where he killed someone?
Yeah. Still,
They
it's still,
started
yeah.
reshooting this week.
Holy
yeah. He still might go to jail, but like
The widow is now an executive producer.
yes,
of
yes.
course.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, fuck.
That's
why
the
would I?
payoff.
Alec, I know what
Except
was
this movie
said in
ain't
the
gonna do
contract.
shit.
That's no longer in the contract. You're not actually getting paid for this movie. This
Yeah.
is pro bono for you.
He might go to jail. There's a chance. Anyway,
Yeah.
great movie choice. This is the first time I think the whole room has been basically on the same picture.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Downgrade me to a 3.
There it is.
I don't
the
like this.
contrarian.
Yeah, piece of shit.
I'm
And-
a contrarian, motherfucker.
All right, we're
Before
about
we
to get,
move on, though, real quick,
Yeah.
you were looking for where you can see that sword. So it is at the Massachusetts Historical Society in Boston. It's near Fenway Gardens.
Okay, and
Okay, so it's
where's the statue at in Boston too?
I think the statue's in
think they said it
South
was-
Carolina.
No, it's in
No,
Boston.
they said it
It's
was
in
I
Boston?
think it's on Boston Commons.
Yeah,
I think
it
is
is in
what they
Boston.
said.
I just don't know where.
I was in Boston
Statues-
Commons. I
well,
didn't
Because at the end of the
fucking
movie, they
notice.
show the statue in depth, which is so
Well,
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's part of the Black Freedom Trail.
Okay.
And dude, it is. I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful statue too. Like very, very well done on the bronze work on that one. So that's like.
Oh, it's on
Yeah,
the
it's in
north.
the Boston Commons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyone in
That
Boston,
is
it's
stunning.
just down the road from the Cheers
Great
bar.
story.
No, we're sure they didn't tear this down for being racist.
Yeah,
It's a Civil War statue.
for the north.
it's a different sort
there's
of.
blacks in
I
it.
hate to
and
say
they're
it.
being led by a white man.
It's gonna sound really bad. I would laugh so hard if that was one of the ones that got torn
Yeah,
down. Just
so
being
would.
like, what? Really?
At that
Yeah.
point, it would have been like all the previous ones. Okay, understandable.
You mean the
But
guy
it's like,
that tore up
you're
his own
tearing down a
paycheck?
statue of Robert Shaw, please.
You're
Well,
tearing down
it's
a
like when
statue of
it's
fucking
like when we went to
Yeah.
when we were TDY for McCoy for that FST class, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're taking the pictures at that fucking photo place at Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to be the north or the south? North,
North,
definitely north.
Well, we're also
As the
in front of-
black guys looking
black
over
guys
our
looking at me
shoulder.
like, which one are you going to be? I'm like, north. I'm obviously on your side.
I mean,
Even the uniforms are cooler in the south, but I mean, I'll totally be north.
it's
I
not
look- I do
surprising.
look
It's just like if you give me an option.
I do
like,
look better
or
in
a
gray.
uniform or like marine camis. Like, I totally want marine camis, but no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
It wouldn't be too
Too
outside
gay.
of the realm of possibility, though, if they did want to get that torn down, because people did riot and try to tear down the Hans
Yeah.
Christian Hague statue
Really?
in Madison, and he was an abolitionist that died in the Civil War.
Jesus Christ, people are idiots.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I'm all for tearing down Confederate statues, but tear down the proper statues.
Oh, okay,
They came up during the Jim Crow era. They should go down.
So
I-
that's a big thing with them.
Okay, I don't know about history is weird, right?
Yeah.
There's things about tearing things. I mean, there should be a sign above it, like saying this guy was an asshole. Leave the statue up.
Yeah, like Nathan
So-
Bedford Forrest.
Yeah, like Columbus even put a statue up. This guy
Robert
raped
E.
and
Lee,
murdered a bunch
not
of
so
people.
much.
Right. Like just put a sign up saying, "Hey, this is a cocksucker."
So
Wait, sorry,
with-
that's actually okay these days. This is
Yeah.
a piece of shit.
Nah.
Fucking-
so
I
with,
forget what I'm old.
with one of the things is like statues are meant to memorialize those
Right.
people, and so it's like,
But what about Dahmer though? Don't do this. You know?
yeah,
They haven't.
Hey, you guys been to the
Netflix.
Dahmer
They haven't done
statue?
anything.
Oh my God, Netflix!
Yeah.
They're doing a great job with that shit.
and
I can't wait for Gacy.
so actually,
oh, I know. I got you stick this dildo in your wrist and hit you. Yeah, anyway, oh God. Have you been to the thing in Wisconsin Dells too? They had with Pete,
The
me and Pete
Dahmer
were
thing?
there. Yeah, no, the Gacy one.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's at the Wisconsin Dells Torture Museum. So they had like 3
Did he-
exhibits of actual
Did
like
he
medieval.
make it that far north, or did he just do a shit?
No,
in Iowa?
no, everything
He
was
went
in
to Iowa.
displays.
torture
But
thing.
yeah,
there,
so there's like 3 displays of actual like historical medieval
plus
torture
all
devices.
his dildos.
Then you go into like the John Wayne Gacy wall.
Dildos,
Right.
Dildos all over the place. Yeah, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna great movie choice.
Semper Hooah field trip to the torture museum.
Great movie choice, fantastic. Everyone gave it fucking great ratings. First time
oh
ever.
yeah,
Appreciate it. And we're going to do a smoke pit. And while we're going to smoke pit, we're going to take a piss break. All right. See you after these messages. Once again, there's no message. All right, we're back from our piss shit, whatever break that was. It was fun. Here we are. We're out of the smoke pit. We're in the smoke pit, sorry.
So we're going to go watch Zulu now. I think we settled on that one.
Had a lot of good conversations outside the studio there.
Yeah.
Michael Caine.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's that time of the show for some Q&A for our guest. Hope you're ready, buddy. Your drink filled up. You're good to go.
Drink is filled up. I've
Yeah.
got a
Ready.
first smoke.
Ready for some questions for you?
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, Jonesy, at this point, I'm going to need you to take over the cameras because I'm too drunk to handle that shit. All right. So, question we ask everyone that comes on the show. It's not just Army, but whatever. But
Yeah.
when and why did you join the Army?
So granddad was in the Army. Dad was in the Army. If I joined any other service, would have been disowned.
Okay. All right.
Was
So
your
there's
dad
not
at
a
Fort Bliss?
contrarian bone in your body then?
Nope.
Was your dad in Fort Bliss somewhere between the time frame of 81 to 84?
No, honestly, fuck my dad. He was in Hawaii for his entire contract, and I got stationed at Fort Drum.
All right. What were you doing at the time, by the way, when you
I
joined up?
got right out of high school.
All right. So, it's fresh out. And
Fresh out of high school, graduated 2 weeks later.
What,
Left for the
what
Army.
year was this?
2016.
Okay. So 2016, you joined the Army. All right. Next question up. Where did you go to basic?
Fort Benning, Georgia, at Sand Hill.
The School for Wayward Boys.
Yep.
Right. And you did OSIT there, right?
Yep. OSIT.
How's that for you?
Honestly, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be because I was expecting to possibly fail out of that because I have a very pessimistic view on everything. So I went there and was like, oh, this is hard, but I can do this.
What time of the year was this at, by the way?
Oh, this was in the middle of summer. Don't go to Fort Benning.
Benning in summer.
Yeah, don't go to Fort Benning. Don't go to Georgia in the middle of the summer. It was ass. I see basic training photos of myself, and I am skin and bones just because the heat just drains any amount of weight out of you.
Okay, so why go the infantry route, by the way? Obviously there's a background with the family. Were they all infantry too, or is this like, no? All right, let's hear that.
Yeah, so granddad was, I think, a cook. I still have to pull that entire thing out of my father.
Yeah. So killer.
Yeah, killer. My dad was
It's all that salmonella, baby.
Yeah. My dad was a Cobra mechanic, Cobra power plant mechanic. So I was wanting to be aviation initially. And then I had
Didn't score high in the ASVAB.
no.
Just that.
Do you want to compare scores?
How big's your score? By the way, what's it say on your sheet over there? You didn't even look at that, did you? You didn't even look at your sheet. What does it say?
Don't look at me. It's not on,
It's
not on mine.
What does it say on there? You go. You can read it out.
I have none. That's how big is your dick? Thanks for listening.
That's all.
I didn't put it there.
No, because for the guest sheets, I never give you the questions. So
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anyway, all right. Keep going.
So that's initially what I wanted to do, and then I got into the mind of getting into airborne because I made a great friend who was in the 82nd. He's now in the 2nd ID. And I got in mind I want to go airborne. I want to get either into 173rd or 82nd.
You wanted to get discharged for bad ankles.
Yep, that's bad knees. So I wanted to do that. Couldn't get that contract getting into it. So it's the recruiter told me, it's if you go infantry, that's the most likely chance that you will be able to get an airborne contract.
Okay. All right. And
It hasn't happened.
all right. And then
They tried to lie to Scott like that too.
Yeah.
and so that's okay. All right. What was your first duty station after basic?
Fort Drum, New York.
Jesus Christ, that sounds horrible.
It's very much as a Stockholm syndrome towards Drum.
That place is a fucking
It's a terrible.
shithole.
Oh yeah, it's a terrible place, but I always think fondly of it because
And then you have to be in New York.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have to be in New York. It's a terrible place, but I always think fondly of it because I spent such a shitty time there with such great people. I'd go back there if I could have the same people around.
What
me.
unit were you with over there?
2nd Brigade Combat Team, 2nd Battalion, 87th Infantry Regiment, Alpha Company.
Okay. That's winded.
Yeah.
How'd you like it up there, though?
I mean, the weather was the same as here, so.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same? Like, in the wintertime?
Yeah, they still get lake effect snow like we do. The temperature's the same.
Now, so you deployed with that unit, right?
Yeah.
And where'd you go off to?
So deployed to contingency location Dwyer in Helmand province of Afghanistan.
Helmand is always been a hot spot.
Always has been a hot spot.
It's a marine stronghold too. Like Marines are up there. That's their big thing.
So actually, Seal Dwyer was used to be a Marine base for the longest time. The Army eventually took it over, as they do everything.
That's what we do.
Because it's not our job.
Well, yeah, because it got too hot for you guys.
Look at Rob. Fucking piece of shit.
Hey, Rob.
Devil derp.
We can take them all.
Yeah, that's true.
Really? Oh, yeah. Just two of you, huh? All right.
So
Okay.
at Seal Dwyer, it was so I deployed from October 2018 to July 2019. It was quiet the whole time, more or less, because that's what the war was. The Taliban knew,
Yeah, it was dying down, right?
Yeah, the Taliban knew that we were going to leave eventually. Like we had been scaling back operations since 2014.
Yeah, all they had to do was start putting their HR resources in place and just setting up the bureaucracy and the red tape and the forms you have to file.
Very well.
Yeah, so like for my deployment, the most that happened was the Taliban would shoot a few rockets aimed at the Afghan National Army base that was right next to us.
It was a training op.
Yeah, it was a training op for them. And then we did blow up a couple IEDs that were very much intended for the Afghan National Army.
You got a CIB out of that, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did get my combat infantry badge.
Mm-hmm.
That I wear with pride.
Got a little action there, though.
Got a little chest candy.
Well, yeah,
Which is
a couple shots.
I
at
keep
you.
telling you, man. Every time you hear stupidity around the unit, you just tap that. It's like, oh, is this thing on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
boom, boom,
and so like one of the things that for like myself and anyone who got their combat infantry badge in similar ways like me, like I had an NCO, like my NCO for weapons squad, because I was the RTO at the time. My NCO, he said, hey, like, this is going to be the way that you guys get your combat infantry badge, and I am proud of you guys for doing that. Like, you're not going to get it in the way that I did, because it's not the war now.
No, it's changed.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah.
And so like if you got your combat infantry badge, combat action badge, or whatever, by just taking an IED or taking a couple mortar rounds, hey, own up to that shit. That's more than what most of the people now in this force have under their belt.
There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
There really isn't. You I mean, it's not like Sami here, or Rob. Good God, both of these boys that saw some real shit back when the shit kicked off.
Back in the real war.
Back in the real war before the Taliban realized that, hey, we probably shouldn't pick fights with you.
Sami was Iraq. I mean, Rob, you're also Iraq all the way, right?
Yep. Iraq all the way.
Yeah.
I fought in the big war. I mean, nobody tells me what to do.
Fallujah.
Rock climbing. Why would anyone go climb a rock?
Listen, bitch. Got any fun stories from that deployment, by the way?
Oh God, I have so many.
What are your best though?
I think the best one was our lieutenant. Like most infantry lieutenants, were very prim and proper sort of people. So we had said, like, hey, sir, if we ever do get our combat infantry badge, you will smoke a cigarette. Because, again, like most officers, they didn't smoke. Mm-hmm. They only dipped. And then we eventually decided that he's going to smoke one of my cigarettes, because I only smoked American Spirits at the time. And they take, as PD can attest, they take forever to burn compared to most other
slow
ones.
burners.
Yeah. So we did get our combat infantry badge. And so he's like, no, like we hit an IED, but we're not going to, we haven't gotten our combat infantry badge yet, so I'm not going to smoke. We never actually had a ceremony for that. It just kind of showed up on our entire platoon's ERB, and like, all right, we can now wear this thing. And so at the battalion ball, post deployment. We were like, all right, the entire platoon's drunk. It was like, all right, sir, here's a cigarette. You're now going to smoke that. And my squad leader comes out. It's like, wait, the LT smoking a cigarette? No, I'm going to take that out of your mouth. It's like, all right.
Must have been one of those when you've been there stories.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
Yeah. Like that's one off the top of my head. Like I have so many other stories that are floating around my brain that I don't remember off the top of it.
Damn TBIs.
So, I mean, there, like, I do have another. So we had an engineer unit attached to us, and this was before the Army completely opened all combat MOSs towards any woman could be allowed.
Wait.
So-
every woman could be allowed in that time?
No.
Wait, go on. Sorry.
So
Carry on.
combat engineers, they could have there could be female combat engineers. There can't be female infantrymen at the time.
Okay. Even then?
Even then,
thought they,
yeah.
thought they let them
It
in
was
now,
it was
right?
a 2019-2020 thing.
I thought that was still
Yeah.
Way
Jamie.
after my time.
Jones. Call him Jamie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So there was a girl on our base who was had her legs spread apart.
Yeah. Go on.
Wait,
Yeah.
in combat?
In combat, no. Wait, we had sex while we were deployed.
Desert Queen.
Yeah, yeah, she was. A desert.
How was she in the desert? Number 1 through 10. How was she in the desert?
I don't know. I never got with that because
Well, how'd she look?
how'd she look
Desert wise.
desert wise? Oh, 7 or 8.
All right.
Yeah.
And then
What about in the rear?
And then back at home, Garrison.
In the rear, 4 or 5.
Did she have a beard?
Not bad actually.
So she
We're very sexist on this show. For
Yeah.
our 18% viewers that are females.
yeah. So
Sorry.
she had her
Thanks,
legs.
Hunter, for the
Yeah, that was
and
nice.
female viewership. And
We
the
like
Mil-
pussy.
Yeah.
Miltalk community.
So she had her legs wide open, and we had a squad leader in our platoon who very much wanted to be a part of that, group of our base. Who was
You want to be Eskimo Brothers with the entire platoon.
he wanted to be Eskimo Brothers with the entire base.
Nice.
No matter what he tried, he could not get that girl to fuck him. It was hilarious because
No game.
he would go he was an NCO, she was a private first class. He would go up to her. He would go up to the tower that she was in, go up there, kick one of his own soldiers out of the tower. Was like, hey, go downstairs and smoke, to just have alone time with her.
Yeah.
And he couldn't make that happen.
Couldn't make that
Still
happen.
Conceal the deal. Huh?
Yeah, and learning out later, that guy's just a fucking creep.
I am so surprised by that revelation.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little fun over there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of action, obviously, but
At least not for him.
or anyone, not combat or sexual for you.
We also
All
had our first sergeant get discharged because he was fucking our senior medic. Our battalion commander got discharged because he was fucking the ICO captain.
We had an issue like that where 2 warrant officers were banging each other.
Yeah.
So we could always tell.
Basically, not enough action going on, so everyone's fucking people they're not supposed to.
Yeah,
right?
it was not enough action, too many hormones. Everyone was putting their dick into anything that would accept it.
Sounds good.
Where was
Yeah.
the glory hole located on the base?
I think that was in the green beans.
Okay.
It's like Sam's over here, like, you know what I was doing back in 06?
I was bagging those fucking Iraqis.
06?
5,
I was
3,
in
4.
Haditha in 06.
Yeah, so do you think? What is that your last year, right?
No. 07.
07? Jesus Christ, 07 was your last?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, I forgot. You have like a million tours. Rob, how many you got?
1.
Cool.
Then I
Where
got-
was that at, Rob?
That was about 2 hours. 2 hours. What direction is that? 2 hours west of Haditha. It'd be Anna and Raw.
Oh, that's right. You guys were-
2006, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot. You
2006.
guys were in the same fucking. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys
I-
were in the same theater.
Yeah.
I gotta bring Sammy a picture, or
yeah,
a picture
Call him
of
Sammy. It's better. I
Sammy,
like
whatever Sammy.
yeah.
Sammy.
Overall, my deployment was very boring because of when I went to that
in Helmand. though.
terrible fucking country.
It's so crazy though. Helmand is a hot. It
It's-
was always been a
so-
hot
Yeah,
zone.
Helmand has been a hot zone for a while, but it was usually it's always Shorab, Fob Shorab that was getting hit because that was we were closer technically to to the Taliban area than Fob Shoreb, but we had so many things that technically for this podcast I can't talk about. We had so many things on there.
He's like that candidate Majewski there.
Yeah, we had.
Everything's classified.
Everything's classified.
Classified, right?
Well, normally
Was a classified supply sergeant.
yeah, we had so many things on that. Like we had an airfield on our base. Like so, like if the Taliban decided to do a full attack on it, we had a full artillery battery and a couple of Apaches that could just spin up and
It's pretty
go
awesome
take
though.
her.
You have that, though.
Yeah.
It's really good shit. All right, so you're, I won't say half-ass.
Mhm.
Great deployment, fun stuff towards the end of the war, which was, I'm not trying to knock it.
Oh no!
No, by any means.
Yeah.
Good God, good for you. Great that you did it. Thank you for your service, or sorry, your freedom.
Thank you for
The-
our
the- yeah,
freedom.
thank you.
For our freedom.
I swear to God, if you say thank you for my service again, I will smack the
I
shit.
kind of
out
want to put up the. Oh, not that one.
Thank you for your freedom.
I
Fuck
had
off.
the best satire come up. That's not what I hit. I hit the Thiefies one. There it is. I just love the doofy one. All right. So you, where were we? So you called it quits after that for active duty. Like afterwards, you got back.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So
Well, you weren't in reserves. Duh.
yeah, I went reserves. So
what before that though? Like, so you come back. You get off deployment. You come back home. What's going on after that?
So it was actually happened before deployment.
Mhm.
My grandmother had died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that was someone who was local would have been classified by the Army as local apprentice.
Mhm.
No one ever told me what local apprentice was, so I never classified her as that. And so like this was before deployment.
Mhm.
Like she had died, and I was like, hey, can I at least go to my grandmother who lived right next door? Can I at least go to her funeral? And my battalion basically told me,
Oh, where has that
shocking.
happened before?
oh yeah.
I don't know.
And so
I have a long story about all that kind of stuff, but yeah, go on.
Oh yeah, I
So do I.
did hear. And so basically, like after that, I figured like I can't work for an organization that does this to another human being.
Oh, an organization. I like that.
Yeah.
Well said. An organization. And you know what? Being in the military myself, still,
No.
I go yes.
Wait, you're in the military?
Part time.
Oh, okay.
Only part time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got out after that. Did my deployment, got out after that. Worked a couple of, as I said, dead end retail jobs, and then eventually started going to college.
You're in Halstead. A little bit of all that. You know, that's cool. Right? Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever's free, right? So then you go the reserve side.
Yeah. So
So you're done with establishment, but you go, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to it part time.
So
I need some benefits.
yeah, so,
Is that I'm curious. Like
so I was still in the inactive reserves.
the IRR.
The
yeah.
IRR, as most active duty people would understand.
The
And so I went for my yearly "Hey, are you still alive?" appointment.
I call that the timeshare meeting.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, by the way, $20,000 enlistment bonuses."
Oh.
And so I'm a slut for $20,000.
Yeah, I would be too, right?
Yeah. So
We've all been there.
join back up on the reserves, and
Except for the Marines, they're like,
Yeah.
"You guys get bonuses?"
Oh, shit for re-upping for
I
that.
have no idea. Like, what the fuck are you talking about bonuses?
what's a bonus?
They just gave me gonorrhea.
Twice.
So
So much.
so re-upped for that specific reason.
So many fluids.
Sorry, getting the gonorrhea got me stuck. Go on.
Yeah, re-upped for that, and like when I was at the RR office, they were like the
office.
Yeah,
The
when
office.
I was at the office, they were like, hey, like you can go to this unit close by. That's their medical unit. They're very relaxed, and everything is like just because they're relaxed, like. When you say that they're relaxed, I see it that they're filled with a bunch of rerees. So like, what's like a more higher speed unit
You got
for the
Robbie.
area? And please send me to that.
So, but all right, you end up going commo.
Yeah, I ended up going combat because most of my infantry career, I was 3 out of the 4 years of while I was an infantryman, I was the radio telegraph operator.
The RTO.
The RTO. And I know way too much about every radio system that the Army has to offer.
Which is fantastic because I love it because now that you're commo, you realize that we don't do RTO. It's supposed to be the ops guys or whoever's doing it being RTO, because they love to pawn us on that shit. Oh, you're a comms guy, being RTO. No. We maintain that shit. Get one of your fucking idiots over here to go man the goddamn radio. I'm not sending one of my fucking Joes to go do that shit.
Yeah, we're like we're here, like, as a 25 uniform, we're here to make sure that, like, if a catastrophic failure happens, we can unfuck that.
Right. Or a Bravo like Jonesy over there.
Yeah,
which is,
or if
the
Jonesy
IT.
ever touches a radio.
Yeah, I don't. Jonesy, do you even know how to use that thing?
A radio?
It's like, it took him a second. Like, what?
Come in, radio.
So, but why that route though? Like, why'd you want it though? Besides I know how to use it. Like,
That was purely I knew how to be a 25 uniform because I could have replaced the 25 uniform.
so that was it. Like, I did it so well as a grunt that I can knock this shit out.
Yeah.
Explains why you can't do the Bravo side and touch the computer part. You're like, computer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
every time, like, hey, I need you to image. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like, God damn it.
like
They teach that in the class, by the way.
they do, but they teach it in a very much of a brain dump sort of way.
By the way, I did tell you when you were reclassing where to go to, right? Did you
Toby
enjoy Toby Hanna, by the way?
I loved Toby Hanna because
Is that the restaurant where the chef kind of?
So let me put this out here.
Oh, that's
That's
Benny
Benny
Hanna.
Hanna.
We actually covered something last.
I thought he was
episode
talking about Yokohama tires.
reclass. Reclass once again for those people. Who don't know, we're talking about reclass, either active duty. You don't know what reclass is, or civilian. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You guys, do you guys have reclass in the Corps? Change jobs.
They let you do that?
So obviously, so a reclass is he came in as an infantry guy. He's now going to reserves. There's no actually infantry in the reserves.
nope.
And
There is.
no,
there
in
is
Hawaii.
No,
there is one.
Actually,
unit
two
or-
now. There's
Yeah.
in Hawaii and specifically in like the outer reaches of Hawaii, so not on the main islands.
Because-
and now there's an reserve infantry unit in Washington State.
Because the majority of reserve Army units are supposed to be support. Everything's supposed to be support in that. The National Guard will take care of all the actual combat part of that part of it. Anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
Well, they do have a lot of them. They have all the combat jobs. Anyway, so he's reclassing. And so Fort Gordon, which is now named Fort Eisenhower, all right, awesome for that, is where you go for commo. You know, that's where you go in the Army side of it. But when he's reclassing on the reserve side, he had some options, and they're trying to pick all these schools. I said, go to Pennsylvania, Toby Hanna Army Depot. It is a civilian-run base with a Army schoolhouse that's literally the size of an Asian man's penis, right? Super fucking small. All right. Tag me in some racist shit on that one. Regardless, really small, right? Go on. Sorry.
Oh, so I was going to say, they were actually, the person that shall not be named, they were actually trying to send me to Las Vegas. So having
That's
been...
dangerous.
That's
fucking dangerous when you're reclassing.
Oh, yeah.
To go to anywhere near Las Vegas.
Having been in a desert, I don't want to be in any more deserts.
Yeah, but that's a really nice
And
desert.
also-
Yeah, that's a really,
Yeah.
really nice
Yeah,
desert.
and also hearing what you had said, and like what everyone else in the section had said, was like, no, I'm going to, like, I don't care how many positions are open in Las Vegas. Like, send me to Toby Hanna, Pennsylvania.
I told you that why? It's because it's in Scranton. It's outside of Scranton, right? Which is, it's Scranton. It's a shithole.
You get to go visit Dunder Mifflin.
Dunder Mifflin,
there-
I know, yeah, right?
There is a very nice arcade bar right in Scranton.
But the
that me
best
and my
part is
Ranger buddy
because it's all civilian run. That's why I said, like, dude, there's it's so small military. Like, the schoolhouse is tiny, the barracks are tiny. Sometimes the barracks are so tiny. Like, when I went there for my reclass, they put me in an all-girl college, Catholic school. I got a legit, like, townhouse for myself. It was fantastic, man. Off base, which isn't really even a real base.
Yeah,
I'm like right next to town, and a bunch
Did you
of
bring your POV?
yeah. Took a POV over there.
I drove the Ford Ranger.
I told him, like,
yeah.
get your POV out there. Make sure you drive your own car there.
You're required to have it. Actually.
Yeah, Jonesy went there too. I made him. I told him to go there. He requested because he used to be
I was
a
there
PSYOP
for
guy.
3 months.
Yeah, he went for Bravo school. Like, dude, I tell me, was it not a good time?
No, it was fucking great. Wilkes-Barre
Exactly.
Scranton's a great area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you either have to have they require you to have your own personal vehicle, whether that's your own POV or rental. And if it's a rental, the unit's paying for it, in which I was very easily
Hello,
able
Mercedes.
to save the unit
I'm
a lot
telling
of
you.
money by just saying like, hey, I'll just drive my fucking truck.
If
out
you're
there.
listening and you want to reclass to Camo,
Camo, go to Tobihana.
Talk to me. We'll go to Tobihana. I'll give you all the specs, the details. Hit me up on contact@semperhooah.com. Anyway, so really? Look, I got 2 guys, right? Testimonials for 2 that had a blast out there. I mean, I loved it. I loved it out there for my reclass.
You're making me depressed.
Am I?
Yeah,
You're praising Scranton like it's
Dude,
no.
When it comes to military shit, it is the best because it's civilian run. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's chill. It's relaxed.
or you can go to Vegas.
Yeah, the Vegas will fuck you though. I'm telling you. You know, we went out there with a lot of your Navy buds too.
Navy buds?
Or sorry, your Marine buds. I thought there was a Navy guy in there too, wasn't there?
Nah.
No seamen.
Nah.
So you didn't
I
have a
was so
corpsman
drunk the
with
whole
you?
time.
Well, I did. I just didn't hang out with them.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah,
I
we
mean,
had a good time.
if you count like pounding on their door at
We're
3
gonna-
a.m. for an IV, hanging out with them.
We're going way off here. Anyway, you went Camo. You went there. Toot my horn for going there. You had a good time there.
I did.
You became Camo. You're now one of me, us. We're the same.
We are both nerds.
We are one. We are one dipshits. All right. Question here. You planning on staying in long time, long hauling it reserve wise? Maybe go back. Probably not active anymore, huh?
Definitely not active. Because like when I was getting out, I realized that the culture was changing back to a garrison army.
Which we just
And-
talked about outside again.
Yeah, which
We need another war.
Whoa.
a war.
Which, you know, I don't want to be part of a garrison army because it's very stupid. Like, even when I was deployed, it was very stupid because we had...
Corporal's course, wall locker inspections.
We had...
Touch your dick and touch your toes.
Yeah.
Payday
PT.
activities.
Oh, yeah.
We had a...
Safety stand-downs.
So
We
part
get
of-
those in a reserve too. Though.
We're not going to get answers like,
Yeah.
your
part,
storytelling sucks.
Let him answer. Let him answer.
part of my deployment was we laid...
Pipe.
Yeah. Thank you, random engineer check. We laid a lot of pipe. But no, we laid 18 kilometers worth of concertina wire around contingency location wire, which has been occupied since, I think, about 2002, 2003.
Okay.
Why we need to lay 18 kilometers worth of concertina wire around that stupid
Well, because
fucking
they
base.
spent the money on it. You have to use
No,
it.
no, it's not even that we spent the money. It's we ran Afghanistan out of concertina wire.
If
Our
you-
single
if
our
you-
single base.
If you don't use the concertina wire, you don't get more next year.
That's how that works.
yeah, that's probably why. But
If you don't
like-
use it, you lose it.
like the real reason why we did it was because our battalion commander needed more OER bullet points.
He wanted to get his Brown Star.
Yeah.
So, but are you staying in though? Like, what's the plan? What do you want to do here? What's your life goal when it comes to the Army?
For the Army. Gonna ride this contract out. At the end of it, I'll see where I'm at. If I need to stay in.
I don't want to lose you. You're a good Joe. Even though you're like new Joe, I like you a lot. You're a good Joe. You're good people.
Get the
It's getting
fuck
a
out.
little gay over there.
Get out.
Yeah, fuck off.
Let's get out.
Yeah, if
Oh, you're not in our section anymore. You're now the training NCO. Fuck off.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
hold
look
on
at
now.
that.
Hold on now.
Hey, I didn't say where. What? You're still a training NCO. That's your job.
I mean, if you want to keep me, you're gonna have to give me some more.
Oh,
benefits.
fuck off. All right. So stay in.
Yeah.
I'll make it worth your while.
Or not.
I want a good guy like you in. Stay in. If not, whatever. Do what you want to do. What are you doing on the civilian side, by the way? What are you doing right now? Obviously, you're reserves now. You're free of the bullshit.
Yep. Civilian side, I'm going to the College of Lake County for a public history degree, and that's so that I can.
You gonna work in a museum or some shit?
Yeah, work in a museum.
No, he's actually gonna do it.
Yeah.
that's just
That's-
joking.
That
But okay.
that's thankfully so.
I'm actually pretty sure we talked about this before and I was drunk.
I I don't think so because this is recent. This is a recent.
The museum
development.
thing, I thought you wanted to do that.
So that is what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the specific like degree name down. So the
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's what you want to be.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
An archivist.
yeah. So the veterans the veteran person at my college is a historian also.
Jam this thing in your mouth for a second.
The veteran person at my college is also a historian, but he's the academic side of it.
Okay.
So he was trying to get a lot of like museum jobs, but kept getting turned down because he had the wrong degree.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully he's switching. He has the knowledge and is like, hey, you want to go for this degree and you want to go at this college for that degree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want work for a museum. You want what do you? All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask too much more than that. That's what you want to do.
Look,
Cool,
I mean, you can continue to ask questions. Like,
Well,
I'm
I'm
happy
gonna ask
to
a lot. I
answer.
ask a lot
Yeah.
of questions of you.
That's why
why
I'm
it was
on
more
here.
pertinent. All right. You know what? Let's get into something here.
Yeah.
Your hobbies, by the way. What do you got there? You got a few interesting ones. Some similar ones to that I have here. Except for the last one I'm looking at. Go ahead. Shoot your hobbies off that you like.
Okay, so love guns. Talking about guns. Which,
Guns.
I mean,
guns.
so the only issue that I have with all these is that they are AR platforms.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
There's that's not an AR. That's AK.
That-
There's nothing. They're not all.
That's M14.
That's M14.
And that's
Yeah,
a 300.
No, there's only like 3 ARs
One,
actually
two,
on here.
three.
So I,
4 ARs
Four.
maybe on
So-
this wall. On this wall. There's
yeah.
there's another wall over there too.
yeah, I can see that one. So I love guns. Talking about guns, and like the mechanism.
You like old shit, huh?
I do love old shit.
So you like the Mauser over there?
I did see
Tommy
the Mauser.
Sturmgewehr.
Yeah. Except if the Sturmgewehr actually worked.
Hey, fuck off.
And if the Tommy actually
Wait,
works.
so you're saying you don't
They're like
have
50,000. You know.
So you're saying you don't have $2,200,000?
Yeah. Just because you went to my house and you went.
$200,000. What?
Oh yeah, let's get.
2.2 mil?
I'm looking over it.
Infantry is dumb.
I'm looking at Rob right now. He's like, "Is this over yet?"
What is
Yeah.
that?
Wait, Rob, you're saying that you're an infantryman and you don't like talking about guns? Come on.
Who said that?
Oh, that was Pete that said that.
Oh, that was
Oh,
Pete.
yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't
Pete
me.
that said that.
I didn't
Yeah.
say anything bad mouthing the guns. I'm like, your math is wrongs.
Oh, yeah, meh.
It's pronounced maths.
I hate my math class currently. It is ass, and I think math should not.
What do
be
you own
a-
for guns? What do you got?
So for guns, I have a Ithaca Model 37,
Interesting. Wow.
A-
All right. Let's look at some faces.
All right.
a Winchester 1897,
Okay.
Okay.
which was one of the things that like I wish that I could have brought it down here so you could see because I
course
think
you
would
can.
have had a field.
Well,
We'll
why
talk.
don't you
We'll talk about
Offline,
it later.
okay.
Yeah. Because you would have had a field day with that thing. It's so beautiful. And I know I have a double barrel shotgun, and just like I have a lot of shotguns because there were a lot of stuff that I gotten from my grandfather after he passed.
Mhm.
And a Czech 22 long rifle.
Check 22.
Czechia.
Jonesy, pull that up for me real quick. Check 22.
Yeah, Czech
I wanna see
Republic. It would have been Czechoslovakian 22 long
It's
rifle.
made by CZ.
CZ, yeah.
Okay,
So CZ 22. What year? You saying?
Oh Christ, if I know. It's a 22, so it doesn't hold that much interest.
No,
for me.
but just I
Yeah.
guess I'm curious of what it looks like though.
It probably tried like 1970s.
Yeah, everything was goofy back then.
Yeah,
Does that look right?
yeah, that looks about it.
All right, blow that
Yeah,
up
it
really
looks like
quick so I can see. Small screen.
Standard. Looks like kind of a standard bolt action there.
All right.
Yeah, it's a standard single shot bolt action rifle. That one has a magazine in it, so it's not technically the same thing, but it probably would have been, like action wise, almost similar, almost exact same.
Okay.
Um,
Being infantry, you into any kind of weird shit?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Very good question.
So being infantry, I like getting fucked.
Well, speaking of getting fucked, we got a video for that later.
Show it now.
Yeah, show it now. Fuck it. If you're gonna say fuck, do it now. Like,
We
what-
needed a good
We have been
segue.
waiting for this the whole time,
Yeah.
man.
What is this one?
Oh, I saw this one.
What is this, by the way?
This is the
Oh.
Vatniks getting blown up by a drone when they're doing activities.
Some,
So you're getting a blowjob or some shit, right? You're getting fucked.
Dirty deeds.
All right, play it.
done dirt cheap.
All right, so it's
Where are we
okay.
looking?
I
We're-
see it. They're zooming in on it.
Okay, all right. I'm seeing
Someone's
it.
getting some serious. They're
Someone's
fucking
getting
her
some
blowjob.
long
How
Nice
is
head
this dude's
action.
dick?
Right?
Oh, okay.
That's a blowjob.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think this is a war crime just purely based on the
Well,
fact
someone
that
bit down.
we lost. I think this is a war crime.
Oh, that's such a dick move.
Wait, what happened? I missed it. I turned away to pour my drink.
Oh,
What
God.
happened
He
at the
didn't even aim for them. He's like, they just
Play it
fall
again.
out.
Play it again. Let's see this. I want to see this.
It's one of our infamous
Oh my
drone
god!
bombs.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, you
So
died
I
happy. You died happy.
I think this is a war crime basically because we lost a dick that was that fucking long.
Yeah, that's a big dick.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see the head bob on the thing? That was like, that was like a Joey Malone. It was like a full fucking.
That was a full action. That was not.
That was like
short.
a 2-foot spread. I'm like,
Jesus.
Yeah.
good for you, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, I would love to have been that drone operator and be like, I'm about to ruin your day.
I wonder
would
if
have
you,
been.
I'm not going to kill you. I'm
That-
just going to make this hurt really bad.
You
That
bombed
would-
my
feel bad a little bit,
apartment
though.
complex. Now I'm
That-
going to bomb you.
That would have been like, I'm the drone operator. I am on the floor laughing as I'm telling all my other friendly drone
I would
operators.
feel
to
horrible
look
while
at
you're getting a
my fucking
blowjob.
screen.
Didn't
doing
even
that.
let him get
Yeah.
his nut off.
Yeah, I like his
Yeah.
nut off before. I like the comment they go.
Also, are they like
Like-
trading? Are they like rotating in and out? Who's
I
doing
do
what?
at least for like Scotty's dad. Like he died right after he
Yeah,
nutted,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like give that, let him nut and then kill him. Like,
Nah,
let that
they're
nut
Russians.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, let the nut happen.
I wonder if this is the Ukrainians' version of how infantrymen always saw Hajis getting freaky with it with goats over for leader sites.
I believe the technical
What do you
term
got?
is
What do
getting
you got?
jiggy with
Let's
it.
see.
And
Let's
it's
see.
also, I shouldn't say.
You got something? Play it. You got something?
Oh, you?
Yeah, play whatever you got. I'll
Yeah.
I'll unmute if you want.
Oh no, this doesn't have to get muted or muted at all. This is just a friggin' Humvee that literally does battle taxi and gets airborne, just hauling ass in Kherson right now.
That's
Hell
Kherson. Dude, that looks like
It looks
So-
like a desert.
right. It does. That's
So
crazy.
Humvees are very much outdated as per.
no.
Yeah.
Really?
They've been that way since the 80s.
Very much outdated, but like, hey, if the Ukrainians can make use of them, like literally send every Humvee that the United States military has in its inventory.
Look at that. Oh yeah, that does actually kind of. There's like that the field. You can see the field there and the little brush on the side.
Yeah, so earlier in the video, there's actually tank fire that you can see. So the forward element that's pushing is the Ukrainian tanks, and then they drop off
they're
just
hitting
a platoon of infantry on the flank of that action to provide support and cover so that tanks are obviously they're exposed to ATGMs. How do you deal with someone with an ATGM? Infantry.
Well, thank you, Jonesy. God damn it.
Thank you.
God, I love this guy. All right, hey, dude. Where are we at? We got a couple of quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went through your hobbies. We went through this shit. You had a good time. You have a good time coming on here?
I had a blast coming
Yeah?
on here. Yeah.
It's been fun.
Oh yeah.
Everyone,
Please invite
everyone
me to
feeling
more.
good? Is this episode about to end? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it has to end soon. I have work.
So do I. I got not work. I got things to do. But hey, it's been a pleasure.
Well, you got a lumberjack later.
You like? I'm wearing this shirt though. You like
Yeah.
that? I was going for hunks of Hallmark, and then I turned out to looking like just a Jewish hipster. That's what ended up happening for me.
I think those are contradictions in terms because Jewish hipsters have the money to buy clothes.
Yeah.
Right. Just,
Not at a thrift store.
Like there's this hunks of Hallmark thing that was coming out, and I was like, my wife's like, oh, she's all about it. So I'm like, let me hunk
You're
it
gonna
up.
make
with
a
her.
calendar.
And then I just looked up looking like just a Jewish hipster the whole time. That's
Mm.
yeah.
You're a lumberjack, and it's okay.
You know what? I'm still getting laid, regardless. Hey, bud, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you having my own Joe on. It's fucking great. Sami, good to see you once again here. Rob, Petey, Jonesy, everybody. Let's do a little bit of pluggies before we do our final send-offs here. All right, please like, follow, subscribe, share, and remind yourselves we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all podcast platforms. And watch us on YouTube or at semperhua.com. You can follow us on Semperhua at Semperhua Podcast and IG at Semperhua. Check out the merch at semperhua.com/shop. You can support the show at semperhua.com with a monthly subscription of your choosing, and 50% of merch profits go to Tango 3 Petey.
We need a new sponsor.
Yeah, all right.
So be it. Tango 3, with your help, they'll support vetted organizational projects that help with veteran mental health issues and veteran suicide prevention through the sale of Dove Creek Akashi Wagyu beef jerky.
And don't forget to send the hate mail to contact@semperhua.com. Don't forget, next week, if you're listening right now, you're a listener. If you're not, fuck off, because, well, you're not paying attention. Wait, you got something.
No, we didn't do the movie line of the week.
Well,
That's next week.
That's what he's
Oh, that's
talking
next
about.
week.
what I'm saying is, like,
Jackass, you're a guest on the show.
yeah.
Hey, go fuck yourself, baby.
What I'm going to say is listen, next week we'll announce the winner for episode 41's episode 40. Which one was that? I don't know. Regardless, check out that. Yeah, check out episode 40. Boom, you'll get the $500. I don't know. I fucked that up.
Anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for picking it up, Sami. Thanks, guys, for being here, and thank you for coming on the show. By the way,
It was a pleasure.
we'll catch you guys next episode.
Remember to support your local sex worker.
We're out.